Do I still even have people waiting for the live now? Or did that F everything up? My lady. Everybody still there? Or do I need a new chat? Going to guess all is well? All's well that ends well. Alright. You still see me? Me? Right. Earn your keep. Excuse me. Short days suck, yes. I want cool temperatures and long days. I don't feel like that's too much to ask of Mother Nature. Hello Freya, hello Alice, hello Kim, hello Johnny. Alright, let me pin this before I forget. Nope, nope. There we go. Boink. Yeah, that's the Discord. Hello Midori, hello Sangi, hello Susan. Oh, Susan, I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. Hello Four Paws in a Book, hello Whitney. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while either. Jen, Cat Whisper, Janet. I think I said Femmarie, but here we are again. Hello Leanne. Zyron? It's a good one. Jesse. Curvey Asparagus is here! Woo! For those of you who wanted things updated on the bingo card, talk to Curvey Asparagus. Words. Hey, K-Buns! Yay, the feral gang! They are such pretty boys and girls. Babies. Fur babies. I miss my black cat. I had a puffy black cat, just like this puffy white bastard over here. They were so cute together. Whitney's try. Have fun with that, Whitney. I was thinking of trying a thing. Yeah, sorry about the scurvy thing. Thinking about trying a thing. Y'all let me know how you feel about it. They give us this goal thing now, they being YouTube. It's basically to like entice all of y'all to do live chats. So I was thinking I was gonna do... Oh, you can't see it. Well, you can't see it anyway. I was gonna do like... You guys wanted to feed the cat a treat? I was gonna do like the really low one. And everybody who gave like a real cheap super chat, I was gonna give... I was gonna feed the cat a treat. Treat has an A in it. Do you not feel like you have to participate? Oh, so if one person does it cancel the whole thing out? If it does, I'll just redo another one. But here we are. I feel like, I don't know. He's sweeping right now anyway, so. Him's a sweepy boy. Let me know how you guys feel about it. You don't like it? Is that what I am, Nerfy? Are you referring to the cat in the chair? We're not at 10K yet, Leanne. For positive. Alright, well, that works. Hey, Cat Whisperer, welcome to the interns. Mwahaha. Hello, Goonerette. I'm surprised I didn't wake him up. He's usually really in tune with this can of cat treats. Hello, Lily. Hello, Alice. Hello, Alyssa. Hey. We gave this to him. 4 paws into books once you would have a treat. Oh, good. Ooh, hey. There you go. That woke him up. Look at his face. Like, I don't know what's going on, but okay. Well, thank you, 4 paws in a book. He doesn't know what's going on, but he's happy about it. Who did I miss? Yes, I was responding to Leanne. I'm like 70. The channel's like 70 people away from 10K. So, not mad. Oh, I can't do that. It'll cut his head off. You have to adjust everything so the cat is in frame. Yes, you. You spell the treats now? No, I'm a happy boy. Keep losing my chat. You guys are gonna make my cat fat. This was maybe a bad idea. Alright. Mug says you should have a treat. Who else? Christina. More treats galore. Yeah, I know. Ow! Okay, look. Manners. Manners. Bite me again and there's no more treats at all. Nothing there, it's just my finger. Oh, 21 years. Good job, Susan. My last one made it to 24, or 24, 21. The kitty knows. Hey, Lily. Not my tail. Doc in a box. That's a good one. Please bop the floor, my girl. Aw. No, no, no. Stay in the chair. Stay. No. I will move those treats. You will never see them again. You have to behave. This may have been a terrible idea. No. Good boy. Let's go back to sleep. I'll give you another one later. Even regardless, because you'll be a good boy. Right, exactly, Midori. I know where they are. Oh yeah, happy Turkey Day. That's Thursday. Well, sure, Fem-Marie. Because he's gonna come over here anyway. Here. That's from Fem-Marie. Here, that's a good boy, see? You can be a gentleman. Your old lady will be 15. Aw. Yeah, the older they get, the more they're the boss of the house. That's my hand. Yeah. Alright, who we got? Doc in a box. Emma Aubrey. Uh-huh. I'm gonna go with Spat. Samantha. Is that everybody? Is that everybody? Welcome to the interns. Mwahaha. Thank you, Susan. I'm just gonna chill. Okay, we're apparently holding hands right now. Did I get everybody? All right. Ah, there we go. Old Broad, welcome to the interns. Mwahaha. I don't have both hands. I have a doctorate in pharmacy and I live in a computer. Well, all right. No. 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 I know, I'm really happy about the interns. Here, can this be acceptable? Maybe. We'll see. As I have arrived. Oh, I'm sorry. I forget. I didn't understand the conversation that was going on. I'm sorry. Talk in a box. I did 3 years. Only 3? Hello, bitey idiot witch. Yeah. Hello, mammy. As long as you're happy. Hey, look who's here. Hello, Rhetoric Toast. Think you sneak in here. I am looking forward to watching it, Rhetoric Toast, because I feel like it's a conversation and I want to continue having it with you. Hey, BJ Puck. So we are going to watch Rhetoric Toast's video first, and then we're going to jump back in on Colin's video around the 40-minute mark. So everybody say hi to Rhetoric Toast, though. If you don't know who that is, if you remember, I don't know why I'm yelling. If you remember watching the video here, Amberlynn Reid is screwed. No. I think the channel's name was still Rachel P at the time. This is the same creator. So, for those of you who didn't know. No. Don't go away. If you leave, how will you get treats? Stay up there. Hello, Line Mom. All right. Let's get started before the cat gets any more ideas in his head. I wanted to start on this screen because I wanted you guys to see the thumbnail. I just think the face in the thumbnail is absolutely perfect. So. There we go. Love from London. The cat has no idea. Entertain me with your thumbs. That is a good thumbnail, isn't it? Alright, you don't need these. You want the headset? No? Didn't think so. We will also be probably playing with the sleep paralysis slime from OG Slimes. You want slime? There, I guess. Whatever. After it is thoroughly sniffed by my cat. Gotta make sure my sound is working, and then I will make sure y'all's sound is working, and then we will have a video.
Hi.
Guess whose sound isn't working? Or is the YouTube sound it looked like? Was it working?
My previous video,
okay, that's working. Stay. Excuse me.
Proudly and
Oh, still not working. Why is that not working? Good work.
confidently stated this. Amber wants to lose.
Did it not turn on? No. I know I'm aggravating. Making you mad. Why is this not working? No. Press it?
Hi. In my
I may give up here in a second and just put my headset back on. Are you really gonna get down? I love you. Get down. I don't care. I tried to set up something nice for you. You are really lucky you're cute. I know you know where the treat can is. That's why you're on the floor. Can I hear it now?
previous video.
Nope, still won't let me hear it. What the hell is going on? The hell sound?
I proudly and confidently.
We're having some technical difficulties, and I don't know why. So, give me a second. My mic, Yeti, YouTube, that thing, my audio should be coming out of this. I mean, if it would come out of any of them, that'd be fabulous. What is the problem?
Hi. In my previous
Okay. If I do that, it'll turn off the camera. Oh, I can do that. I see you. No, get down.
previous video,
What's going on? Sound settings. You should be not coming out the speakers at all, for any reason. Inputs mic. Output devices. Why? I don't want help. Is there something wrong with YouTube? Excuse you, no. Thank you. No. You see these? Nope. All gone. All gone. They don't exist anymore.
I proudly and
I don't know what I did differently, but here we are. At least I have sound. Now can I have the chat back? Yay! I hope I didn't miss anything, sorry. I know you guys can hear it. That wasn't the problem. I couldn't get it to come through my headsets for some reason. It was just giving me some kind of issue, and I'm sorry about that. You're bleaching your hair, Ruby. All right. Yeah, it might be kitty magic. Haven't added words to my... somebody actually had a suggestion, Curvey. What was it? I think it was anyways. Proud of me for getting it figured out. You gonna lay down or are you gonna pout? Column A, column B. Alright, anyway. I'm having tech issues. Thank you for the cat butt. We don't deep fry frozen turkeys in this house. We roast duck breasts. So anyway, all right. So this is Amberlynn Reid is Desperate to be Fed by Rhetoric Toast. This was 2 days ago as of today, which is 11/26, 2 days before Turkey Day. And boy, pick a side. Are you getting down or are you sitting in the chair? Pick. You're not crawling under the keyboard. The treats was a mistake. Because now he's going to try to knock my water and everything else off the desk. Okay, look, I'm already having sound issues. Can you not? Okay, really, no. That's a really no. I know. I am a horrible person. You only got 4 whole treats. How dare. Or you can get down. I don't know if you could see the tail flip, but he's very irritated with me. Anyway, this is the second part of Rhetoric Toast's video where she was talking about Amber's in trouble because Amber is dating a feeder. And she talked a lot about feederism in that video, and it was very informative. So that was, I don't think we made it all the way to the end. Yeah, we did. We skipped the feederism part and went straight to the end. I always say what after a mini rant? Oh yeah, anyways. Yeah, I do. Alright. But I don't have her sped up. I think she talks at a pretty decent... I don't think I have her sped up. You were told your options. Yeah, sure. Go sniff that stuff. So I've got her at her normal pace, which is fine. Bye. So, without further ado...
Hi. In my previous video, I proudly and confidently stated this: Amber wants to lose weight. In that video, I heavily imply and downright argue that Amber is a victim of manipulation because she doesn't want to gain weight, but that her new feeder girlfriend might force her to. Since uploading that video, I've realised that I might be very, very wrong.
Welcome to the party. He's got, what treats does he have? I think they're just, Purina... No, they're those... Tasties, the catnip ones with the, hairball gunk inside of them. Smug. Yeah, no. I talk to them like they're children. Or at least like I expect them to be able to rationalize things. I don't know why, but... for some reason, because they're my cats. My cats are smarter. Anyway.
Spanning back as far as 11 years ago, Amberlynn has been documenting her desire to lose weight. She was making weigh-ins, squat challenges, and videos showing the kinds of food she was eating. She seemed earnest in her desire to get smaller, frequently making statements to camera about how much she wanted to lose weight.
We were just reminiscing, negatively reminiscing about how much weight we've gained, and we just want to get back to our lowest.
I wonder if, yes, Crystal. I wonder if Crystal lost any weight after Amber and her broke up and Amber moved out specifically. Let's see if I can get chat up now that I'm not negotiating with a cat. You can go pout in the corner? Sounds like a plan. But I don't know. I'm just curious if... you know, she did, because I know that she was trying while Amber was living there. And made the right decision on having fur babies. Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind adopting, but that's many years in the future still. So. Crystal did lose the weight? Okay. I wondered about that. Cats are as smart as dogs, they just don't care about pleasing. That's true. So that's interesting. Well, with the exception of... Destiny. I don't know why I have such a hard time with that one. I think all of her girlfriends have lost weight after they've broken up. Because didn't Beck lose a chunk of weight too?
In her New Year's resolution 2014 video, she says,
I need to do this for my health. I need to do this for
2014.
me. I need to prove myself and others that I can.
She's been doing that same damn wing for 10 years now.
And lose weight.
Please deep when you hear this that was 10 years ago. She goes on to say,
I'm not just all
10 years and 250 pounds.
talk.
But the thing is, she has been. In the 10 years since filming this video, Amber has gone on to display an insane cycle of weight fluctuations. In this video, I'm going to consider one explanation for why this has happened. Could it be that she just loves to watch herself eat?
Type 1 in the chat below if you think it's because Amber likes to watch herself eat. It is hard having nothing but trash food around Doc in a Box. I think Crystal's parents cooked, because I remember Amber complaining about it on more than one occasion. Hey, Stevie! Hey, Taco Talia! Look at you! I know I do these at, like, the absolute worst time for you, and I apologize. But I remember Amber complaining about Crystal's parents cooking, and she didn't like the food or something. I don't know. It's Amber. Who knows? Look at all those ones. There's Sarah, but she lost the 89 pounds. Yeah. Somebody was pointing out that the 89 pounds was off camera. Like, that was before anything ever had Rosemary 100. Aw. Alien Brit. Mega Bloks is like Legos, so that's fun. Not sure if she said a number, but it was visible in a good way. Yeah, I mean, visible weight loss is, I think, better than even having a number, because you can lose weight and not have a physical change, and it doesn't feel like you've lost weight. But when you look in the mirror and you're like, yeah, I look good, you know, that's what matters. Go with God, my friend. Oh, you're off work sick. I'm sorry. Back is still large, yeah. But not like Destiny. Destiny, like, gained weight after they broke up, I think.
Somebody called Bunny Eats Blueberries commented on my video saying this: she does not want to lose weight deep down. It's crazy how some of you still think she wants to lose weight. Then riddle me this, Batman. How come she stops every diet that works?
I love it when people say, riddle me this, Batman. Because I'm that deep of a nerd. Let's see. Bunny Eats Blueberries. This is completely incorrect. You don't have to start like that, though. Though it's exactly what Amber wants you to think. She does not want to lose weight deep down. She wants to play victim and get attention. This is perfect for her. They are manipulating each other for no reason, because they were both honest with each other. They'd realized this relationship is exactly what they both want. It's crazy how some of you still think she wants to lose weight. Then riddle me this, Batman. How come she stops every diet that works? It's almost like she thinks, oh no, I'm losing weight and people won't feel sorry for me anymore. Also, I don't know why every reaction channel says they don't want to watch Amber no longer be with us. So you want to watch her continue to horribly abuse partner after partner and animal after animal. Which option there is actually morbid and psychotic? Y'all are wild. Maybe we should have just left that last paragraph off. I apologize. Oh, look at you, Doc in a Box. Good job. Your head hurt. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's right. How many of you are in the migraine crew or having migraines right now? This seems to be a common theme in these. Yeah, I hope Taco Tully feels better. What did you say and I missed it? Ding ding. Ding ding ding. Whatever. Who does turn Amber on? I mean, and actually, Rhetoric Toast will get into that. So that's a hot take there, Blueberry Eater. Yeah, right. Anyway, same with Glitter and Lasers. She is nothing if she. Yeah, I kind of made a video about that today, Sarah. There we are. There's the migraine crew. Sorry about that, Smugs. Hey, Diary's here. Think. How do I do this? There we go. Bonk. Bonk? There. You have standard powers. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Currently with me, I'm losing weight slowly, but part of that is also that I'm gaining muscle weight. Yeah, but the muscle looks better than fat, so I'm shifting that weight. Okay, Diary does has their own channel where they're documenting their journey. But I was going to say, I looked at one of your most recent videos and you're looking really good. Like, I can see a difference. So even people on the other side of the computer screen can visibly see a difference in Diary now. Migraine crew. Femme-Marie. I was thinking about those. So the Botox injections. What do they do? I have so many questions because I had like this week of cluster migraines and they were killing me. And I was like, I will totally go get stuck with a needle if that means these things will stop. But you need more God than others. Standard powers are what you get when you're an apprentice superhero. You've worked for it, Diary. You deserve it. All right, anyway, back to this.
It's almost like she thinks, oh no, I'm losing weight and people won't feel sorry for me anymore. Bunny Eats Blueberries comment is certainly interesting, and their theory that Amber has
And needlessly harsh.
not lost weight because she wants to be a victim is a possible one. But one I find even more fascinating is the possibility that she is genuinely into feederism and was long before Emily ever
Look at her daintily nibbling. Oh, that was a perfect pause, too. Daintily nibbling on her little chip there. So a couple of you are doing the Botox for migraines thing. I've only known one other person who was getting Botox for migraines. And she said that it was the only thing that stopped the cluster migraines, which is why I was thinking about it. Oh, that's interesting, Claire Louise. I mean, not that you're... It's interesting that it's serving two purposes. You do as well, Sarah? People with migraines are more sensitive to cold. I love cold weather, though, Ruby. I'd rather be cold than warm. I don't know about the jaw-clenching headaches, Taco Talia, but like Johnny was saying up above you, I think she was getting them like right here or somewhere in this area, and it basically... Migraines aren't actually your brain, it's the muscles and the muscle attachments on the skull just being asshats. So the injections effectively paralyze those muscles so they can't cramp, basically. So you have Botox in your scalp to help with psoriasis. Interesting. Amber does think she's sexy the way she looks, Gunnarat. Go back up. Marie says it helps a ton. It takes about 2 weeks to kick in, lasts for about 2 months. Decreases the frequency and the severity. I don't know, man. That's very tempting. If you have migraines, you understand. My fear of needles is overridden by the pain of my migraines. So, the benefits are cumulative. Oh, that's pretty cool. I don't... Hey, Priscilla. Butterbur helps my... I've been taking Feverfew for my migraines for a long time. And it does help, but it's one of those things where it has to build up in your system, and I went too long without taking it. So now I gotta let it build up in my system again. And it doesn't work for everybody. If you've got any kind of like ragweed or chamomile allergy, you can't take Feverfew because it'll trigger the same allergy. Thanksgiving egg rolls. All right, Sandy, I see you. Taco, I love when people take stuff that can kill us for good. Poison, dose makes the poison. You had a migraine last night, horse and rider wellness. Oh, okay, let's see. I have a good chunk of people in here now. There we go. I have to remember to do these. I get 10 of them a month, and I don't think I gave out any yesterday. Rosemarie, Ellie, BJ, Christy, and Jasmine, welcome to the interns. Mwahaha. Hey, Megan. All right, let's get back to this. I do want to do two things
in 2014,
tonight.
She says,
I feel like I can really do this.
But she never did. As a fat person myself, I'm so intrigued by this duality in Amber. The channel Beanbag in a Curry has a video called Amberlynn Reid crying about her weight then going out to eat. This video details examples of when Amber has shown this dilemma in herself. She will literally spend hundreds of dollars on a diet to then throw it to the wayside 24 hours later. Could this be because all along she has been hiding a feederism fetish? Somebody else called Fuzzy Buzzy 3159 commented,
What's with all these bunnies?
People forget the other side of it, those who get pleasure from gaining themselves.
It is more common than feeders as someone who is into it fictionally and and interacts with the online furry side of it. Well, okay. Amber knows what she is getting into because she is into it and has been for years. We have been watching her. I'll just let her finish that part.
Amber knows what she is getting into because she is into it and has been for years. We have been watching her make bean flicking content for herself for over a decade. When I began moving down this thought process with the help...
God, she's like picking all of the iconic... The backwards dress here. God, who doesn't remember this part? Gasteoprasis. Didn't work, but oh, well, at least you tried. Yeah, that's... Hey, cat. Only thing is... And then there's that. And I don't have anything against that. I just personally don't like taking the devil's lettuce because it makes me very paranoid. I'm at the point when I watch Amber Foodie or Anna, I'm doing it to keep me on track. Yeah, exactly. You're welcome, BJ. Chest piece, yes, the backward chest piece.
Help of the comments I've shown, my initial reaction was to be kind
Chilling
of
off.
defensive of my video. I really wanted to maintain my belief that Amber wants to lose weight. I don't know why I felt that so strongly. When I read those comments, I decided to have a little dig and try and work
Max.
out why was I so convinced that Amber wanted to lose weight? It doesn't seem to make any sense. I had a little bit of an, oh my god, light bulb moment. This entire situation would be so much easier to talk about and would make so much more sense if Amber didn't want to lose weight. I know I run the risk of sounding stupid here, and there'll be those of you
Can we talk about her eyeshadow though? Like, it's absolutely fabulous.
watching this video who will be thinking, duh, of course she doesn't. I think I believed her because I'm a larger person myself, and even at my 280 pounds, which is already significantly overweight, I couldn't really believe that somebody who's experiencing some of the same struggles that I have, but they're having it 2 or 3
And she's like on it. This is, what, 3 days ago?
300 pounds more than me. How could that person be happy at that size and
Sorry, the chair squeaked when she sat in it, if you never watched that.
not desperately want to lose weight? And if
Skeletor,
she really
yes, hello,
doesn't want to,
Skeletor.
why doesn't she want to? Is it because she's always been a little bit of a hiding in plain sight feedie and I just never noticed? And what if Amberlynn actually is a very, very willing feedie of Emily's and is actually super happy in her new setup with the fact that she's found a willing partner? Maybe that's something of a jackpot moment for her. I also said in my last video, I've never seen somebody try to lose weight so hard and yet somehow...
This is Rhetoric Toast. We watched her first one, and it was, at the time, the channel was Rachel P. I'm almost positive it was. But anyway, the channel is now named Rhetoric Toast, so. There we are. Hey, concentrate. Oh, wait, that's the same person. Never mind. My bad. Jumping the gun there.
Not actually try at all. I might be late to the party, but I'm realizing now that maybe the reason she's failed at all of these diets is because she doesn't actually want to lose weight. She certainly doesn't want to lose it enough. But why is that? So in this video, I'm going to assess the question, does Amberlynn Reid want to be a feedie? And what evidence do we have for the fact that Amberlynn Reid gets off seeing herself eat? I have a philosophy degree, I say this all the time, and because of my degree, I can't find it in myself to believe arguments. I don't know, somebody says something and my first instinct is to be like, yeah, but how do you know? What evidence have you got? But I find it so frustrating when
her yarn collection actually gets a good shout out here in a minute, and it's actually pretty awesome.
I want to know the answer to something so badly, but the evidence just isn't there. I feel this way about God, but we'll come back to that in another video.
I feel like I've been unconsciously collecting all of the skeptics in the Amberlynn community, like unintentionally. Like I've gathered Colin, we've got Rhetoric now, like, I have Nerfy, mwahaha. So I just feel like I've got all the skeptics, kind of the humanists are coming together. Yeah. So, oh, Rocky, did I not say hi, Rocky? I don't know. Hello, people I missed. Hi is Buggy. Right, back to the video. I don't know what's happening.
There is, however, some evidence we can look at for the question of whether Amberlynn gets off at watching herself eat or whether she wants to.
She can't not watch herself eat. Even when she isn't watching herself eat, I'm almost positive it's because she's cut it out, or she's physically making an effort to not look at the camera. Remember that whole phase? It was before she decided that it was before Tommy, before we knew about Tommy. And she was doing all the like brief little taste tests. She was still living in the Oklahoma apartment. And she was going out of her way not to look at the camera because I called her out on it. And she was going out of her way to not look at the camera. Like she would literally look all the way over here so she wouldn't accidentally look at the camera when she was putting food in her mouth. I am collecting Pokemon. Let's go. I choose you. Rhetoric Toast. Because we're going to watch Colin next too, so.
To be fed, so we're going to look at it now. All my sources will be linked in the description. Some of my sources are a bit dodgy and go to websites that are a bit dodgy, so if you want one of those sources and you don't see it in the description, you can...
Oh yeah, I forget she does sources. Look at that. Look at that beautiful mentioned videos. Oh, God, it makes me so happy. Look at that. Exciting. Anyway, I'm probably way more excited than I should have been. Sorry.
And leave a comment and ask or message me and I'll send you the source. In this video, as opposed to my previous video where I peeked into the mind of feeders, in this video I'm going to peek into the mind of feedees. In order to understand
I remember watching this video somewhere else and I don't remember why.
Amber, we're going to use some case studies of other feedees who have commented on how they feel about their own role in their fetish. I'm really hoping by doing this we can make comparisons back to Amber as we go and try and genuinely answer the question that I've posed. I'm also going to show you a little bit of the struggle that seems to exist within feedees, how the sexually driven want to gain weight and get larger fights internally with their also personally driven want to not be immobile and not be unhealthy. And I'm going to highlight how this struggle is very obvious in Amber and manifests itself in Amber's channel. Amberlynn has actually been displaying this dichotomy inside herself for years.
And I think this is the important, well, it's labeled thesis question, so this is the important argument going forward, is that it's not just that Amber is herself a feedee, or I call her a self-feeder, which is apparently actually a thing. I thought I was just being clever. But anyway, it's that she has an internal struggle in that she does want to lose weight. However, the draw of being a feedee or feeding herself overrides the desire to lose weight. I think it was she the one that mentioned in her first video the like higher level something or other. God dang it. Now I look like an idiot. Or higher order versus lower order desires, I think it was. And then made the argument that losing weight was a higher order desire. I think this was her, yeah, because I was like, I don't think Amber, I think I went on a tirade about not wanting to lose weight. The moon is a concept that Amber struggles with. No, she doesn't struggle with it. She's very certain it doesn't exist. Oh my God, I'm sorry. It's still funny. Are you saying my voice is harsh, Max? Is that what you're saying? She does have a very nice voice and a good presentation. Right, exactly, Femmer. You throw in the addiction and the binge eating, and I mean, Amber's... she's not motivated enough to get out of the grips of it. Oh, yeah, easy, Ruby Skies. Like, I am the first one to say, I mean, you don't have to... Sorry, scratching my nose. You don't have to work hard to convince me that Amber's got problems, because there's just no way in hell she doesn't. But she does have a very soothing voice. It's almost like ASMR level. Like, she's very quiet, in a good way, not in a bad way. Also, I really like the sparkle of her eyeshadow. I can't wear eyeshadow like that because, like, I don't like the way it looks on me in general, but then also I feel like the chunkiness of it. Oh, now you're back? A little tough. Yeah, the chunkiness of it. I don't remember what I was saying, but I've seen, well, she's worn it now. Milk Tea Reacts wears really large glitter eyeshadow and just looks absolutely fabulous in it. So, anyway. I don't know what NAL is. HRH. So, no? You wonder, Kat says, I wonder if between now and December 1st, if Amber truly isn't snooping around, seeing what people are saying and how she feels reaction. This is Amber's pattern, though. She mentioned, I think, in the actual concert video that she was out of pre-recorded stuff. And Amber's pattern is, as soon as she runs out of pre-recorded stuff, she usually vanishes for at least 2 weeks. Not 2 months, but 2 weeks. And then she'll pop back on with pre-recorded stuff that she made during those 2 weeks that she was missing. So 2 weeks will put us right about December 1st. I guess she's going to do Lynn Mass this year. So that might be why she's coming back in December. But it would also give her 2 weeks to pre-record stuff. So this is just her This is just her cycle. Anxious, avoidant attachment. Yeah, I mean, yeah. This needs therapy. Yeah, all the girls have issues, like Lee says. She is definitely a train wreck. I learned to save the wrong species. She would do a good video on glitter and lasers, but I'm possessive of glitter and lasers right now. Only me and Colin are allowed to have her. No, I'm kidding. I don't care.
On her channel, and somehow I just never noticed. I will also mention the infamous cookie video, which, although it has been quite dramatized, is genuinely very telling when it comes to this topic.
I can't. This, you know how people are always making the joke of this whatever is my sleep paralysis demon? That is my sleep paralysis demon right there.
A cool commentary channel which was new to me called Tiny Blue Anthropologist actually made a live stream where she watched my video. She shrewdly observed something which it sounds like she has said before, but
I'm shrewd.
This was my first time hearing it.
Amber's been self-feeding herself for years at this point.
God, who is this person on camera? Jesus.
Like eye-banging herself when she puts that first bite of food into her mouth. Amber likes watching herself eat. I don't know if she likes watching herself gain weight, but she definitely likes the look of her putting food in her mouth.
This comment from her, along with the two that I've already mentioned, which are on the screen right now, were taken into consideration by me before I decided to make this video. There's also this comment from Linzilla, which says, I honestly think this is the best case scenario in both their eyes. Amberlynn wants to be fed and the feeder wants to feed. Also, the public recognizing it and commenting on it is also part of the fetish.
That was an interesting part for me. The comment from Linzilla. I'm sorry about the cat hair. The public recognizing it and commenting on it is part of the fetish. That's interesting to me. That the publicness of it enhances the fetish. Because Amber's always been like, no, I'm not a feedie. No, I'm not into feederism. No, I would never date a feeder except for Tommy. I've wondered about Wifey, and that it was just Wifey before Tommy. I'm not counting Valentine. But I wondered if Wifey wasn't a feeder, because it made no sense. It still doesn't make sense to me. I'm not of the opinion that she swooped in there because she thought she was going to save Amber. So, did anyone else check to see if they could see themselves in chat? Chat is famous. That's true. But this whole idea that the making it public, or at least having the public notice and comment on it, enhancing the fetish for them, I didn't think about that. Because Amber stopped eye-banging herself there for a little while. And we really haven't seen her eat much on camera lately. Like, the last time I remember her eating on camera was that frozen fruit roll-up thing. And at the time, Tommy was filming her. So Amber didn't have to worry about not having a good shot of her putting food in her mouth because Tommy was filming her. And we all know, I'm sorry, Tommy's a feeder. But look at the chapter name. The eye-banging. You've noticed that Tommy likes filming Amber and having her put it on her channel. Yeah, Tommy definitely likes looking at the camera. I make comments about that in the video that is coming up. So is this why Tommy seeks out public people? Maybe? Maybe? Both sides of the lens, public can be humiliation high or an equivalent of queen status. Good point. The public shame reinforces the naughtiness. Yes, naughty. Oh, that's a good point, Kim. Wifey was the caregiver little... Yeah, I forgot about that. I think it's Stevie that I get... I think Stevie's the one that gets mad at me when I call it a day collar, but... Can you be a little daddy? Well, no. I mean, yeah, but... Tommy does have very dead eyes. I actually comment on that too in the video. You guys are hitting all the points that I'm going to mention in this video. Can you just wait? Jeez. It's going to come out tomorrow. Christ. But yeah, Tommy has a very... You know, we talk about the reset face on Anna and April Lauren. And, okay, so both of them. So Anna has a very angry reset face. So that's why Anna always comes off as feeling angry. Like, even when you just watch her she doesn't come off as happy ever. She comes off as very aggressive and very angry. April Lauren's like the exact opposite. She always comes off as kind of sad and just, you know, you feel bad. And it's because April Lauren's resting face is a very sad face. Like she's in like, she looks like she's in emotional pain all the time. Amber has a blank face. And I've mentioned this before. When Amber resets in between her emotions, because she's just performing the emotions, her face will go blank. And that's why with the cat video, when she admitted that the cat was missing and she's crying in that video, she doesn't do the reset in that one. I don't think she does it at all. I can go back and double check, but I don't think she does it at all. Unlike the video she puts out where she's showing us how the cat got out and defending the cat getting out. That one she does reset in several times, and it's like a switch. It's that fast. She's gotten good at cutting it out, but it's still in there in a lot of those. And I was watching Tommy's face at the concert, because Tommy did a lot of filming of herself and Amber, and Tommy's face is like that too. Tommy just has a resting blank face. And it's interesting that the two of them have gotten together, because they're two performers, right? They're both performing emotions. But you always thought Little was like a brat. Excuse you, Allie. Brats are a totally different thing. Yeah, what Femmarie said. Things are complicated with Amber and Tommy because Amber's audience is rejecting Tommy, and that's why she's been depressed and avoiding YouTube. It's not going how she planned. Exactly. Yeah, April's hard to watch because the last one I watched of her, she actually looks pretty happy. And I did record a reaction to that and then realized that I hadn't hit the record button, and I was mad at myself, so I didn't go back. Not all brats are equal. Yeah, they are very alike, which is going to be the really interesting thing there. I feel like Kim needs to have like a Q&A session one day. I have a resting confused face. It's possible. Yeah, I think you and me are on the same page on that one, Kim. Yeah, I think April's getting better, especially since she's having some success in her weight loss. I know she's not losing like oodles of pounds, but she's definitely lost visible weight. And again, we were talking about how you can lose weight and not change shape, and it doesn't feel like you've lost weight. And then when you finally do see that visible weight loss, you're like, yeah, I'm killing it, you know? So, you emote. No, you emote. That's cute.
This really got me thinking, is Amber secretly or not so secretly getting off on all of this? So I started to look at
one in the chat if you think Amber's getting off. Oh wait, never mind, don't do that.
And what I found did kind of change my tune. I've mentioned that Tiny Blue Anthropologist says in her video, Amber, in my opinion, has been self-feeding for years. And she says that Amber is always eye-banging herself when she puts food in her mouth. This got me intrigued, so I popped over onto Amber's channel to have a little look.
I like that she did this. I like that she didn't just take my word for it and she was like, okay, let me go see. I got to explain our BF to my genetics professor in college. He was in his late 60s. Taka was like, screw it. I'm voting anyway. Plague doctor. Anyway, I like that she went back and she looked at this as well. I know that this is a very soft, sciencey way of doing this, which is fine. Soft science is still science. I like that this is effectively like a retesting of my theory. So she's going to go back and look at various videos that I've looked at and reacted to and commented on. She didn't go back through my videos. She went through Amber's videos, but she catches a few of the same. And I like that she did that because it's a second form of verification, right? But she does make mention later on after that, after going over the videos, that maybe she's seeing it because she wants to see it, or, you know, maybe I've put the idea in her head and now she can't not see it, right? So there's that. Day Event Horizon, you guys are killing me. Soft science for a soft love.
How true this is. I was trying to find evidence of this eye banging to see if it really is something that she does, and my results are interesting.
Bye, Alyssa. Thanks for coming by.
There's one video called Forcing Myself to Eat for 12 Minutes Straight on Semaglutide/Ozempic.
God, I remember that video.
Now, I won't harp on how the word force in this title already kind of plays into parts of the fetish.
And that's another thing that I didn't catch way back then when I watched it, because we hadn't met Tommy yet, and I didn't know that much about feederism because I didn't need to. But the whole concept of force feeding yourself or force feeding your partner apparently is a thing. What do you want from me? Nothing. You want nothing from me. Evidence of eye banging. I mean, what else you gonna call it?
Let's stay focused instead on what we're actually looking for right now, which is evidence of Amber eye banging herself as she puts food in her mouth. Well, I found it. She does it in this video when she eats the broccoli, the mini pepper, and the carrot. And
bye, Line Mom. 5 p.m. Gotta go. Bye. You feel like you're watching a nature show.
Actually, if you watch this whole video, she hardly looks at us once. When she's eating, she mainly looks off to the side or at herself in the viewfinder. It would be like if I filmed this entire video looking at myself there. So if I'm looking over here while I'm talking, it's obvious that the reason I'm speaking and the reason I'm filming is just to enjoy that fucking ball of wool that wants to be the absolute main character of this video. How fluorescent is that? The point—
Justice for the green ball of wool. What about the Tommy? Kim says, again, depending on the lens, force feeding is a control, while the feedee is either enjoying the humiliation or the desire to please who is feeding them for approval. All right, cool. But what happens when you're doing it to yourself? What's happening there? Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I was gonna make a joke about Amber eating tacos, and then my mind went where it should have gone before I made the joke. And I was like, oh wait, that's probably not appropriate. Anyway. Yeah, all hail the green yarn ball. It clearly needed the attention. Was that a Kid Next Door reference? Probably. Kids Next Door or Kids in the Hall?
Point I'm trying to make is that it's more like she actually enjoys seeing herself eating in the viewfinder. Most clips of her eating are like this. Heck, most of her channel is like this. Amber doesn't make much eye contact with the camera or her viewers at all, and it gives her videos a slightly narcissistic feel. Here is someone self-taping their eating, someone who likes to see their 500—
Take this personally. Well, sorry, Taco Talia. Tacos are delicious. It's just, you know, when you're making a feederism joke, and Amber's the one making it for you. Sorry, Lucy Jane. I'm sure they're delicious. It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. It's the Doritos tacos, yeah, the nacho cheese flavored ones. Look, we in America like to dye things bright, obnoxious, unreal colors. Let us kill ourselves slowly, thank you.
£100+ self-eat. It's suspicious and kind of odd. Amber is eye-banging herself in this video, and I don't know if it's the angle it's filmed at or something about her eyeliner or how the camera is really low down, but the whole clip is kind of giving bedroom eyes. Like if you look at her eyes, there's a part where she goes like this, like it literally looks like, I don't know, there's just something kind of sexual about it. This
Kinda? Hey, Cat Nicole. Burritos. The food colorings where the nutrients are. Potato soup's good too, especially if it's like loaded potato soup with unnaturally yellow cheese. Stock in a box when I'm on video call, I struggle. That's a different setup in my mind. That's a different setup because you're talking to other people, so you're fascinated by your own face at that point. Not in a bad way. When you're making a video, you don't, all right, if you're good at it, because I'm perfect at it, you don't tend to look at yourself. You will get hypnotized by yourself, but the camera looks weird. Like I look weird right now because I'm not looking at you versus me looking at the camera, because now I'm making eye contact, right? As a creator, I want to make eye contact because that's the better way to communicate, as opposed to me just staring at myself or my cat, who's once again asleep in the chair. I think he thinks if he comes over here and sleeps, I'll give him more treats. Am I in live chat? Yes. What did I miss? Yes, Ashley, she is. Is chat frozen or something? Is the cat wrong? I don't know. Depends on if he can behave himself. It's saying that my stream bitrate is lower than recommended, but I don't know how to fix that. I should probably figure that out. I don't even actually know what it means. For a second it looked out of order. No, it says I'm on live chat. What does that mean to YouTube? I don't know. Oh, YouTube has an issue. YouTube has all the issues. Oh yeah, it can absolutely be a self-conscious thing, yeah. Looking at you when I'm in therapy. Yeah, it's hard to do.
This could be confirmation bias. I might be seeing what I want to see, but I don't know. Watch it for yourself and let me know what you think in the comments. This was just one example though, and I didn't want to stop here, so I kept digging.
True,
I watched her video, weigh in what I ate today, counting calories and cook with me. And guess what? Watch this. She does it again.
No.
These are just a few examples, and in the interest of transparency, there are of course lots of bites where she doesn't look at herself.
This is one of the times where she's forcing herself not to look at the camera though. Nay. Sorry about this. Come on. Get the goddamn thing out of your mouth. Okay. We're just gonna pretend like we didn't see this. Talking about bedroom eyes. Okay, she's blowing on it. She's totally making eye contact with the camera before she puts this thing in her mouth. Like, she's still looking at herself. And here, she's setting herself up for the bite. Right? Okay, and then I think I can play it forward from here.
Bites where she doesn't.
Now, she's already started herself setting up the bite and blowing on it and has her tongue out before she takes the bite.
Herself.
See where her eyes are? She's doing her damnedest to not look at the camera while she's making this first bite.
I'm not saying.
See how much because nobody looks there. That's not a natural place for your eyes to go.
Saying this by any.
And she immediately has to look up. She can't not watch herself eat. Anyway. And then and then BJ, she'll still watch it when she edits it back, yeah. Johnny, she looks down to acquire the target, then back up at the camera. Plague Doctor, you're funny.
By any means proves anything, but it definitely is true that she looks at herself a lot while she's eating. Research I did into.
I don't know if she did it here.
How watching.
Oh, nope. Never mind, I lied. But I can't. Right, Midori? I mean, maybe if I was filming myself eating in front of the camera, which I won't do, maybe it would change things. Like, I don't know. I'm more concerned about, like, not sticking myself with my own fork. So, well, it says you learned I learned to save the wrong species. Hey, everybody. All that beautiful bean footage any meeting. Nah, that just takes us back to, what was that? Yeah, it was Tommy the Musical, wasn't it? Where they, for whatever reason, have that video where the mom's rolling around in a bunch of baked beans. I still don't know what the point of that scene was. Yulia, hello! That's a great username. Rex the Dragon. I can't my house be haunted.
Oneself eat affects our eating habits shines an even more fascinating
This is interesting here.
A guy called Peter A. Ubell did some research on how eating in front of a mirror can affect how much you eat. He argues that when people are made more aware of their behaviours, they often start comparing their behaviours to the ideals set for themselves, and nothing promotes self-awareness better than a mirror. The theory then, proposed by Atajami from the University of Central Florida, is that when people eat unhealthy foods in front of a mirror, they feel bad about not living up to their ideals, and are more likely to alter their consumption to match their ideals as a result. This research then suggests
this is just positioning it just perfect so she has the perfect bite. Anyway,
that Amberlynn looking at herself eating in the viewfinder over all of these years should, in theory, have made her less likely to keep eating unhealthy food rather than more likely. He even concludes that unhealthy food actually tastes worse when it's eaten in front of a mirror, and a viewfinder, in the sense that you can see yourself in it, is just like a mirror, right? So if Amber doesn't find that watching herself eat takes away from her enjoyment, perhaps that does indicate that something else happens in her brain when she watches herself eat.
I also want to point out something when she was mentioning the paper, you know, citing your sources. She mentions the name of the author. She mentions the name of the paper. I can't remember if she gave the date. And I'm not going to go back and find out. I've done enough backing things up. That's a really great way of citing your sources inside of a video, because a lot of people find that difficult, right? Because like in a paper, you just write down the last name and the date, and then you match that up with your bibliography at the back or your sources at the back. In a video, it's a little more difficult to do because there's no visual cue, unless you're going to put one up on the screen. Like I've been known to do that, especially if I'm like talking and I forget. But when you're doing an audio essay like this, mentioning the full name of the author and the paper is a lot more useful than mentioning the last name and the date, usually like just the year date, because it's more, you hear it better, right? And also a lot of people don't use sources in their descriptions. So if you're going to use a source, TikTok bitches, and you need to mention the name and the paper and the date if you can, but the name and the paper are the most important. And then cite your fucking sources down in your description. But that's me. Use your fork and a knife. Tisk, tisk, diary. Knives don't exist here. You're lucky she didn't just stab the damn thing with a knife and just shove it in her mouth that way. Yeah, Daimyo, yeah. Yeah, if you guys got questions, just, Kim's over here spitting facts, so. Oh, yeah, Allie. TikTok, I don't know, man. Every now and then I'm like, maybe I should go put clips of things on TikTok, but you saw hints of this on Jerry Springer, Jenny, and other sensational shows before the... Oh, yeah. Well, Mike has a good point, too.
something she enjoys perhaps. Bringing back this comment from the beginning, the one from Fuzzy Buzzy, which I've already mentioned, they say, we have been watching her make bean flicking content for herself for over a decade.
I love that she defines bean flicking.
Just in case you don't know what bean flicking is, it's a euphemism for enjoying yourself in your own time. Hopefully you get what I mean by that. That comment really
I love that.
Made me think, fuck, is that what it is? Is that what she's been doing this whole time? Is she genuinely filming herself eating for her own enjoyment? And it does kind of change the entire angle that I watch the eating portions of her videos with, because it adds a slightly different vibe to it, thinking that maybe that's why she's doing it. Look at this snip where she eats a Curly Whirly. A Curly Whirly is a British chocolate. It's made by the company Cadbury, and I will admit Cadbury's chocolate is amazing.
Yes. God damn it. Hershey buying Cadbury here in the US, like the worst fucking thing that could possibly have happened to Cadbury.
I had some Hershey's chocolate once that I tried. Oh my god, that stuff tasted like ass.
Hey now. Hey now. Hey. I live in the state of Hershey, okay? We literally, Hershey is like 2 hours away from here. Something like that. There's Hershey Land, okay? You can go on the Hershey chocolate ride. They will take you around this really horrifying animatronic ride. You have to go. You have to experience it. It is like the most terrifying thing you've ever done. And it's not supposed to be. You can make a giant Hershey's candy bar there. They've got an entire eatery that's just a food court where everything has something to do with chocolate or the cacao bean. You watch it. Don't you go slandering Hershey like that. BJ. All right, y'all stop with the bean flicking. Stop it, Allie. Well, that's because I think I might be wrong, but I believe Hershey's bought the US branch of Cadbury and immediately changed, well, they shrunk the Cadbury egg for one, so it's like probably a quarter smaller than it used to be, which probably isn't the worst thing, all things considered, but it doesn't taste good anymore. I have to order them from overseas now. Only because your brain went to the gutters, Kim. Jeez. It's not my fault you have that connection. What do you want me to call it? That's what they call it when you get there. The US doesn't suck. We just have shitty chocolate. Well, that's kind of the claim, though, Yulia. That's the argument, honestly, is that Amber has been making her own bean flicking footage for a long time. Huh. That's interesting, Ruby. It is cheap. Hershey's chocolate is actually a chocolate product. It's very important that you understand that. It is not actually chocolate, and it never was. Hershey's chocolate came about during the Second World War, where everything was rationed, and Hershey's found a way to create a chocolate product that still tasted like chocolate and could be used the same way chocolate was used for baking and that kind of thing, but didn't contain as much actual chocolate in it because that was being reserved for other things, including sending things to the troops and that kind of stuff. So cloak on cloak. So that's why Hershey's chocolate is the way that it is. If you go to like a chocolatier, I mean, pretty much every city's got some kind of like candy shop that does like fudge or chocolate or things like that. If you go there and you get chocolate from them, probably it's going to be a higher quality chocolate because it's probably going to legitimately be chocolate, and it will taste different. The texture will be different. The snap will be different. The sign of a good quality candy bar apparently is if it snaps when you break it. So the thing with Hershey's is that it's never been chocolate. So Jezebel is a pretty name. I don't know why people have to get why is Jezebel got to get such a bad name? I really don't know why they call white chocolate chocolate. I don't know why they don't call it something completely else, because it's not. I think it still has cocoa butter. I could be wrong though.
It's absolutely disgusting. I don't know how you guys eat that, and it's not like I need to be eating chocolate anyway, but I definitely think Hershey's is gross, so I can kind of understand her reaction.
Hershey's is a concept of
Oh,
chocolate.
I guided one to heaven.
I remember this. This was it right before or right after Cakegate? I can't remember. Yeah, there's the face. That's the face we're talking about. I think it was Kicking Geese who would always point out that if Amber liked or disliked something, and it was because you could see the dopamine hit in Amber's eyes, like her eyes would light up if she really liked something. And then sometimes she would go when she really liked it. So whatever it really is.
Amber doesn't eye bang herself in this clip, but she does make odd noises while she eats the chocolate. There is actually a video on YouTube called Amberlynn Reid Food Noises She Makes Eating Basic Meals, and although it's got a bit of a weird name, this video is basically just Amberlynn moaning and making sex noises when she eats food.
Why?
Which I know, you know, lots of people do that. It's not that weird, but it's just something to know, I think. I'm not making the definite conclusion or the definite argument that Amber does enjoy herself eating or gets off at seeing food go into her mouth.
Oh no, Lee, I'm so sorry. I know how that feels.
I'm just offering you a few examples of things I found interesting where it seems like that might be the case. This is where I'm going to add the nod to the infamous crumble cookie video. Obviously, we haven't seen it, I don't think, but it is alleged that in this video she has a nice time enjoying herself, sensually eating a crumble cookie. Allegedly, she's in a state of undress and she appears to be aroused while she's doing this.
I heard you rub the cookie on your nookie.
I could have gone my entire life without knowing any of this existed, and now it's like part of my regular repertoire of points that I make.
No. I was wearing my bra and I like had it and I was like being seductive and I like went like that and then like I had the cherry and I was like that.
She is so proud of herself too. She did like that. You mean the way that Tommy fed you the cherry when you guys went to the bar that one time? Oh yeah, no. Kim, common sense. Yeah, it's not just with Amber. You see it with the other girls too. Yeah. Oh yeah. Who am I thinking of? Oh, well, I mean, I'm thinking of someone in particular. Definitely. Someone who claims that they're not Amber. I have never had a crumble cookie either. I know. I think somebody gave me $10 one time to go get a crumble cookie and I forgot to do it. I should go do that. Quote of this experience.
And then I might have put a little icing right here. It was like a classy...
What part of that was classy? Where in that entire description was anything classy?
thing.
She really doesn't help the rumours, does she? The fact that Amber made this video does kind of show that at least part of her can see sensuality in food. Then again, so do lots of people.
Anyway. I've heard people say crumble cookies amazing. I have some people say, "Oh, did you, Allie? Well, I will go get a crumble cookie." I've heard people say they're amazing. I've heard people say that they're basically just sugar cookies with icing. They make little cakes now. I mean, I've delivered many of them. I don't know who these people are who are ordering like a 6-pack of crumble cookies at 10 a.m., but y'all need to chill. Anyway, she meant Cassie. The lighting was classy. It depends on what I eat it with. I may not be able to, I don't expect to be able to eat the whole cookie because they're like 1,200 calories a cookie or something like that. But they're also meant to be shared. Back when I first started delivering them, if you ordered like more than one, like if you got the 4-pack, by the way, I hate their boxes. They would give you this like, it looks like a cookie cutter, but it had like eighths of it. It was divided into eighths, and the whole concept was as you pushed it down on the cookie and it cut the cookie into eighths, and you were only supposed to eat an eighth of the cookie. They were meant to be shared. But anyway. Give me a second, guys. Never mind, it's my upstairs neighbor. Anyway.
It's pretty common to bring food into the bedroom, so I'm not sure how much this really shows.
I would get a room with this cake. I think I could show this cake a good time.
Also, while I'm at it, here is a clip of another feedie called Monica, who has just finished a funnel feeding session. Now, don't get me started on the funnel feeding, I cover that in the other video, but Monica shares how aroused she is after finishing a meal.
I'm like really turned on right now as well.
Monica is also a horrendous oversharer who lets us know
I can get
horrendous
off
overshare
just by him rubbing my belly button.
Hey, I'm sorry, don't hate me. I had to hear that, so I feel like you guys had to hear it too. Although
thanks.
some feedies clearly do really enjoy watching themselves eat, please do note that the eye banging that I've accused Amber of doesn't necessarily fall into this category. Watch this video now where Amber poses for a thumbnail. It's possible that it is in fact the thumbnail that Amber has in mind when she appears to be eye banging herself. Maybe.
But if that is true, I mean, it could be all this time. It's just been Amber trying to get a good thumbnail, but the thumbnail that Amber wants to have is her seductively eating food. So, and making eye contact with the camera at the time. So even if it is just her trying to get a good thumbnail, she is still going out of her way to seductively eat the food, right? Or at least make it look like she's going to eat the food. I remember her eating these and it just made my teeth hurt. I see that you're saucy brioche now. Bring me Han Solo and the Wookiee. Wah, wah, wah. Those were the gummy worms. These were the freeze-dried gummy worms. Guys.
Maybe that's more so what.
Oh, an update on the elderly neighbor across the street? What did I tell you about last? Tell me what I told you last and I'll fill you guys in on the rest.
She's concerned with when we get those clips of her putting food in her mouth and looking at herself in a viewfinder at the same time. One thing I do feel kind of bad about with my last video is that I sort of made out that all feedies are immobile victims who are controlled by their feeders, but frankly that isn't very fair. Don't get me wrong, lots of them are that, but lots of them are willing participants who have complicated feelings about the acts that they take part in. There are some feedies, well, most it would seem, who feel that they are happy consenting adults. And some even go as far as to say that they dislike the term feederism, preferring instead to call it feedism. I found a book about feederism called Feederism, Eating, Weight Gain and Sexual Pleasure, and in that book there's a chapter where the author writes, for some, feederism suggests that the feeder is dominant and the feedee is simply a recipient of another person's wishes, whereas feedism suggests a more equal relationship between the feeder and feedee. The word feeder is also shunned by some who may prefer encourager or feedist, again reflecting a more consensual situation rather than one where the feeder is dominant. Equally, feedee is sometimes replaced with gainer, which suggests a more active role on the part of the person gaining weight. That's kind of interesting, right? However, I would kind of
semantics is what it is to me, but whatever. Unrelated to anything we're talking about. My neighbor's fine. She recovered quite well. She journaled all of her experiences, and well, it's funny is what it is. She doesn't seem to have any ill effects to it. It was just a fun night for everybody. So, but she was fine. I took her over some food. She gave us some cookies. We're good. I know that wasn't that exciting of a finishing, but I am glad that she like journaled all of her experiences because it sounded like she had some really intense hallucinations. I mean, they were hallucinations. She thought the EMTs had come out of the television, and so she was telling them to go back into the TV show because they weren't good actors. And then she said at one point there was just a ball of light that it was talking to her. And I'm guessing that was the doctor at the time. But then she also said that at one point she was convinced the doctor was trying to take her out. And so she kept yelling at him like at the top of her lungs to get out of her room because she was convinced he was trying to hurt her. And she's like, I must have yelled at him a lot because her voice was very gravelly when she came home. And she's like, I must have yelled at him a lot because I have no voice. And I said, or was, you know, the 3 hours you spent yakking into the toilet, and she's like, oh yeah, that probably did it too. So I think yeah, I mean, I'm interested to read all of it, but it's her journal, so, you know, that's up to her. I do like the stories that she shared with us. I mean, it had to be terrifying in the moment. Like, I can't imagine having those fears in the moment, but now that it's over with and everybody's fine and she can, like, rationalize it, it is kind of funny. And we did take the other gummy away. She was like, I never want to see these again. And I'm like, cool. I don't have anything against those. I just recommend not eating an entire one all in one go. Just, you know. But, and God, please do not leave those out where children can get a hold of them, because they really do look like candy. And she said it tasted delicious. It was one of the best tasting gummies gummy candy she's ever had. So I'm like, yeah, don't leave those around where your kids can get a hold of them. Because I don't want to think about what that would have done to a little kid. That's amazing, Allie. Yeah, ephemery, there's a lot to talk about. Coming back on the topic, there's a lot to talk about with feederism, especially as people who are outside of it. I'm sure there's probably somebody in this area who is involved in that particular thing and does not feel like they can talk about it, and that's fine. Well, okay, that came out wrong. But the point is, we are outsiders and we are looking in. We are not insiders looking out. So it looks weird to us because we are not the ones into it, right? But like Rhetoric Toast was saying here, it's not necessarily an all-in kind of situation, you know? And I think if it's this one or was it the last one where she was talking about, a lot of it seems to be fantasy related, like not reality. Like they fantasize about both situations. Maybe it is in this one. So it's not even, there's no actual even like physical participation in it. It's just online chats and that kind of a thing. So guys are not making me whimper. The last time I had anything like that, jumping back to this topic, I didn't take enough to have any fun thoughts like that. I just felt weird. I felt bad, and I didn't like it. I got really paranoid, and my skin got itchy, like creepy itchy, and I didn't like it. So that was my experience with it, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. So, but that's me. That's my reaction to it. I am not everyone. I know some people swear by them, so, you know, I just be careful. Make sure you're not going over the recommended dose, and please, for the love of God, keep them away from your kids. Yeah, like Doc in a Box. Some chocolate sauce in the bedroom is one thing, but it can't be safe to eat oneself off the planet. Yeah. That is true. Nalkita. Some communities are great income for illustrators because they're still verboten, and so you got to go to the niche company, the niche people to get the things you want, you know? You can find nudies anywhere. You can't find furry nudies everywhere. I mean, if you know where to look, you can, but it's not upfront, commonplace, easy to get a hold of, you know? And now we're talking about, well, I mean, we're still talking about the topic, but don't bring leftovers into the break room. That's funny. Oh, wow, seasons. That is a question for furries, Saucy Broche, and or Kim. Kim might know. This sounds both fun and terrifying. Because a severe asthma means I can't smoke. Ugh. No, thank you, Doc in a Box. I had vertigo once. Good, I'm good. Never again. It's not like you have the option, but, you know. Yeah, I mean, like Chicken says, some people need it. I think somebody earlier in the conversation when we were talking about Botox mentioned that they used the devil's lettuce to help with their migraines. I know that people, one of the first uses people were using them for was like appetite stimulation during cancer treatment. So, I mean, I'm not against it. I just want people to be careful. This is practically OnlyFans with well, Twitter's going through some growth spurts, I guess. What do you call it? Midlife crisis? I don't know. I'm over on Blue Sky. I have no idea. Kim knows all when it comes to some of these topics, yes. Kim or Oracle. I mean, I guess you could, like, Google it. You said with MS. I didn't know you had MS, Chicken. Your best friend has Crohn's and uses it? Not that kind of lettuce, though, right, Saucy Brioche? You had a mint edible, and it helped a lot to quiet. Yeah, see, that's kind of what I was hoping for. I was having a lot of anxiety, and I was like, oh, this is supposed to help with that, right? It did not help with it. I have heard that for pause. I have heard that there are different strains and that they do different things, and I don't know which one I had. And I have since thrown them away, so I don't know. I guess my next question is, why are you ordering a cheesecake? See, here's the real kick in the pants, though, Allie. It's $45 before you tip. And you know how much of that $45 your driver's gonna see? Like $2.50. That's how much they pay. That's how much Uber and DoorDash pay their drivers. And Uber takes a cut of the tip. After you tip the driver, Uber takes a cut of the tip. So Uber not only charges you a shit ton of money, but then they'll take money out of my tip because they're allowing me to use their service. I don't drive for Uber. That's true too, Midori. Yeah. All right, anyway, back to this. We're almost done, I promise.
Argue that a shit by any other name would smell as bad. You can call it what you like, but it doesn't change what you're doing, does it? I just wanted to add a nod here as
You go, Allie, you go.
well to the fact that there are some people that engage in feederism who do it
Yes,
to
Taco.
degrees which aren't as bad as others. I can see how there are some light types of feederism that might be less dangerous. However, this isn't really relevant because when it comes to Amberlynn, the size that she's at and the person who she's dating, who's definitely into severe feederism, means that although she isn't going to...
Here's the part of that. Wow, sorry. Oop, that's not helping. Here's the part of this picture
dating, who's definitely...
that blows my fucking mind. This is a person. Like, I know you can't see the face of the late partner here, which you can clearly see Tommy, but it's like, that's a person. That's a human being. Can you imagine how uncomfortable that must be for that person? Also, please don't even try to tell me that Tommy's not a feeder. I haven't seen Tommy look that happy around Amber ever.
Into severe feederism means that although she isn't going to leave us, if you understand what I'm saying, tomorrow, she will probably be on her way earlier than necessary if she continues engaging in this. So while it might sound like I just defended feederism in its milder forms, I absolutely abhor it in its more moderate to severe forms, which is where Amber seems to be getting into it. A researcher called Ariane Prohaska, in her paper Help Me Get Fat, Feederism as a Communal Deviance on the Internet, asks the question if perhaps feederism is more so a kind of, how can I word this without sounding bad, self-inflicted pain kind of activity, because the feedee has a strange kind of enjoyment at experiencing a really full stomach and potentially being in pain from that and from weight gain. A feederism documentary from the channel Munchies called The Hungry World of Feeder Fetishes shows this young lady who, after a feedee session, measures her stomach and admits, although this researcher does kind of argue that feedees like being fed because of the pain it causes, there are some that really don't agree with that. A good number of feedees, absolutely loads in fact, actively and happily want to take part. I'm not saying this is right, I'm just saying that it's true.
I mean, concepts of right and wrong, I know this started a huge fucking argument the last time we went over this. I think it was her video. Your concept of right and wrong is your concept, right? Correct? Ergo, if I think it's a right or wrong is irrelevant to the people who are participating in it. And I mean, I can think it's gross and icky and horrible and people should be punished for doing it, but you know, those are my thoughts, and thankfully I don't make the rules. You know, it's that kind of a thing. So I guess my point is like, passing judgments on something like this or the participants in it, it doesn't change that the people want to participate in it, and it also doesn't necessarily mean that it is indeed wrong or weird. It's just wrong and weird to you, right? And it's that holding two opposing concepts in your head kind of a thing. You don't have to like something, but you do need to understand that other people might. Like, I don't understand how people eat, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I was trying to be clever and it didn't work. Anyway, like, I like pineapple on pizza, but I know there are a lot of people that do not. I like sardines and pineapple on pizza at the same time. I usually get a pizza to myself. But I'm sure there are many of you who are like ready to get the pitchforks and the torches on that one. So, but that's kind of my point. Your dislike of my pizza toppings does not make my pizza toppings wrong, right? So, and I'm sure I got a lot of not angry comments, just a lot of like people who do not see eye to eye on it. And that's perfectly fine. Feel free to comment. That's perfectly fine. Just, you know, stay civil. That's all I'm asking. Anyway. Yeah, like, well, Mammy's kind of backing up what I'm saying here. They are allowed to do it. People are allowed to do, quote, wrong things as long as it's legal. Right. Once we cross the grounds of legality, that's a societal judgment that we as a group have decided to make, and we've decided to enforce rules to make sure that people follow those rules, right? That's a whole other conversation. Kind of, sort of, not really, but it is. I'm talking about pineapple on pizza. There's no... It's still legal to eat pineapple on pizza, gosh darn it. So, Team Pineapple. I'm sorry, Lucy. See, I told you. Some people aren't gonna like it. Winter sees. Well, only if we're talking... come back. That was a point. Come back. Winter Seas says, well, only if we're talking about morality through the lens of moral relativism and not moral absolutionism. I'm of the opinion both of those are kind of constructs in general. Society has to decide if something is wrong in order for a society to enforce the right or the wrongness of it. Thank you, Idiot Witch. Yes, I know. For legal reasons. What did you say, Cloak? I will never find it. I will never find it. Anyway. Hawaiian pizza is breakfast pizza. That does sound good. Especially with a nice thick crust. The tiny fish with the... See, though, if you think... Okay, look. The saltiness of the anchovy and the sweetness of the pineapple. And I like a red sauce on the pizza with cheese, you know? And you can have, like, sausage or pepperoni or something else on there, but like the cheese is also very important. I like the combo, the flavor combo, because you get the umami from the fish, you get and the cheese, and you get the salty from the fish, and you get the sweet from the pineapple and the sauce. It works. I'm sorry, Taco Talia. You feel people only split hairs with morality when it benefits them? Yeah. You're not wrong. Kem says, but at the same time, come back here. There are some things that we, by default, take as wrong. It does not entirely take a society to decide that killing people is morally awful. It does, actually. It very much does. There have been societies in the past where there are certain forms of killing that were completely acceptable and expected. So our modern society does not view it as, I mean, personally, I don't. I joke that I have a list, right? But push came to shove, and you actually gave me the opportunity to do it. I couldn't do that. But there have been points in society where it would have been perfectly acceptable for me to do it, if not expected that I would do it, right? For various reasons. So yeah, there isn't anything that is universally morally wrong. There are no universal morals, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It is all driven by society. White pizza with a white pizza. I gotta quit jumping back and forth. Well, like Gunaret says, feudalism should be a crime. That's unfortunately just your opinion. I don't know if I'm willing to say that. I really don't. If the majority of feudalism is actually just fantasy roleplay on the internet, then nothing's actually happening. It's just roleplay on the internet. So that's the thing. When we get into the concepts of, in the last video we were talking about death feudalism, I personally think that shouldn't be something allowed, because I don't think you should be helping people off the mortal plane unless it's a very specific set of situations, which feudalism is not one of them, I guess is where I'm going with that kind of a thing, but it's still even hard for me to say that, it's still very hard for me to put my own moral stamp on everyone else. Like, I don't want to do it, but it's like when we were talking about eating animals. I'm not going to eat my animals. I love my animals. Why would I do that? Your cat might be dinner. It's that kind of a thing. Using feudalism to solve world hunger. I mean, theoretically. We generate enough food in the United States to pretty much feed everyone. And I'm pretty sure that's true about most countries. People who don't like cinnamon are wrong. Damn straight. The real adventure is the friends we make along the way. Look, if you guys disagree with each other, don't take that as like not being able to be friendly with people. You can be friendly with people you don't agree with. Okay, we're back up at the white pizza here. Yeah, like Mammy's saying. I don't want to read it out loud, but, come back here. Right here. Not only was it, I mean, we wouldn't do that today, and we look back on it and we're like, geez, but it was part of society, Again, not something we would do today. So I would like to believe that was true, Saucy Brioche, but we will see in the upcoming years. I don't know about that one either, Winter Season. I hate having this conversation. Only because the age of what is or isn't considered a child has changed over the years. Back in, well, Shakespeare's time, it was not unheard of for a girl as young as 10 to be married. We would, well, okay. See, I can't even say that. I can't even say, like, the US wouldn't allow that to happen. But like there are certain religious cults that cults is not the word I wanted, but anyway, there are certain religious factions that still don't see an issue with marriage that young, right? So though by most state laws, a girl that young is not capable of giving consent, therefore anything that happens to her that is adult fun times is considered that thing, right? And is punishable by law. But that's a decision that we as a society have made. A modern society. So you guys keep throwing all the like the morally hard to talk about ones at me. Oy. Something about sins of societal. What happened? The quote sin of survival used to be considered a-okay when it was required. I mean, we even have caveat with not with PDF files, but we do have even caveats with like with like killing. Like it's if you can prove a good self-defense argument in law, in the court of law, theoretically, you have proven that it was a kill or be killed situation, and supposedly the law will rule on your side, or at least be lenient on your side, because one of you was not walking out of the room, you know, kind of a thing. Oh, okay, that took me a second. Your problem is what people want to... I'm not saying it's not. That's why I said this one's really hard to talk about. Yeah, Lucy Jane, I know. But that's my point, though. We do not agree with that. We as a society, especially a formal American society, we do not agree with that particular practice. So we have laws against it because we as a society are like, nah, we don't want to do that. So if you come here and you try to do that, theoretically, everything's theoretical. The doc says, I don't think feederism could ever be outlawed. Eating your own food isn't a crime, but with quality mental health systems, I think much fewer people would feel compelled to eat to 500 pounds. And that's like a whole other thing, though. Like, that's not even feederism. That's just like overeating in general and EDs and, I mean, that kind of thing. If mental health services were more accessible and, you know, good, I'm not saying that the ones that are out there aren't, because I think my therapist is amazing, but I have to pay for her out of pocket. My insurance doesn't cover her. Excuse me. But I feel like if more people had access to that, there'd be a lot of things that people wouldn't do anymore, or at least would have help for. Because, you know, eating yourself to 500 pounds is probably the same set of issues as like not eating, you know? And that's not healthy either. You guys are arguing about marriage. Well, I'm sure bathtub Mary, but it's still like, consummated or not, marriage to a girl that young in the modern era would not, well, in the United States anyway, theoretically, it's still considered illegal, whether you're planning on consummating it or not. It's still weird today. And frankly, my personal opinion is it should be weird. Bye, Goonerat. Thanks for stopping by. Sorry, Allie. All right, let's get back to this. We've got about 10 minutes-ish, give or take.
Example of this is Monica. She claimed to want to be 1,000 pounds.
I'd want to be the fattest woman in the world and become immobile.
But she went on to change her mind, lose weight and have a baby. But there are lots of feedies who spend their time kind of on the fence. They lose and gain because they can't really decide what they want to do. They almost feel that they're fighting themselves and they keep self-sabotaging. Sound familiar? Here is some evidence of a feedie who has this struggle, which sounds a lot like Amber's own struggle with going up and down in weight. This feedie talks about a feeder she's met recently, and she says, "There's a huge attraction between us, but if we were both to act on our urges, I'd be so fat that I couldn't move, and while for a while that seemed appealing, it simultaneously depresses me." It's kind of interesting how she shows that she's both aroused and depressed by the idea of getting bigger. And isn't that kind of what we've seen Amber do? She's been back and forth with weight loss for years. It's like she wants it, then she doesn't, then she wants it, then she doesn't. What if the reason that she does this is the same reason that big fat elephant does it? Because she feels this confusion that some feedies seem to feel. I have more evidence of another feedie that feels this same way. A case report done by a researcher called Leslie L. Terry, called Feederism in a Woman, gives some insight on how one feeder called Lisa feels. The researcher talks in detail about how Lisa gains and loses the same 30 pounds because she can't decide if she wants to get bigger or not.
Does that sound familiar? Gain and losing the same. What? Amber's fluctuation is around 50 pounds. Well, it was. Oh, I have no idea what she's doing nowadays. Gaining and losing the same 50 pounds over and over and over again.
Not. Perry writes, "Interestingly, throughout the interview, Lisa constantly referred to her feedie self and her non-feedie self. She indicated that her feedie self was constrained by the real-world consequences of feederism, and she mostly limited her feedie self to the internet and fantasies."
Okay,
this definitely kind of sounds like Amberlynn. It's like she flicks back and forth between wanting to lose weight and gaining it, and wanting to lose it and gaining it again. I wonder genuinely if the reason that Amber struggles to lose weight and keep it off is because she only half actually wants to lose it in the first place.
I want to be a success story, but if that's what you're expecting to happen in 100 days, I'd stop watching now. This is only 100 days of me trying to escape my own personal hell.
Anybody remember how many days this particular set of 100 days lasted? Because I feel like it wasn't near 2 weeks.
I've had to deal with it my whole life.
On a Reddit thread I found, somebody asked, "What's for you the best part about being a feedie/feeder?" One feedie says, "Ooh, for me, it's..." Why did I say ooh like that? Ooh. "For me, it's definitely the permission to let go and still have that something that my partner finds sexy. I can just let it all hang out, so to speak, and it's very freeing. Just being able to gorge myself silly in front of him, and I'm not ashamed for it." This really makes me think of Amberlynn.
Hi, Editing Rachel here. I'm absolutely cracking up whilst I'm editing this video. Listen to how I just said Amberlynn.
Amberlynn.
It's happened so many times during this video, but that one was particularly bad. It literally sounds like I'm saying Anne Boleyn.
Amberlynn.
As in, like, the second wife of King Henry VIII, who was...
I think somebody commented on that in the first video of this that we watched. It sounded like she was saying Anne Boleyn. I don't hear it until you guys point it out, but that's me. What did Jakara's Scale Eyes last put air? I don't remember. By the way, Alona's pregnant. Yay! That's a good thing. We're all very excited. Good luck, Alona. So, to take my dog to the sitter. Oh, all right. Bye, Cat Whisperer. You guys are... I lost the thread on that one. Sorry, I'll come back. You always hear it when someone says Amberlynn? I can hear that. I can hear it. Yeah, but I think Karina does it on... Yeah, okay, you say that. Never mind. I should read the entire... I should read the entire comment. It'll be the most muscular baby ever. Was she guessing around 5:30? I think that was after she had lost... She being Amber had lost some weight. Alona's gonna love being pregnant. She's gonna get to eat. And she loves food. So she's gonna love being pregnant. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys get a chance, go over to... She put an announcement up on her channel, so go give her some love over there. I think she's 3 months in. Also, her guy better treat her right, because we don't take kindly to people not treating Alona right. But I don't think we have to worry about it. If you have to keep reassuring people your partner isn't trying to sabotage you, that's a red flag. Yeah, no, really. Bye, Bunny. Thanks for stopping by. I know we've been on here for almost 2 hours at this point. Yeah, she's gonna be a great mom, I think.
was the first English queen to be publicly executed. I had to Google that, by the way. I didn't just have that knowledge on tap. Anyway, let's carry on.
It's true. She can really just let it all out around Emily. She can know that Emily has seen much, much worse. It must be so freeing in a way for Amber. I can't imagine how it must feel for her, having something which has been an internal struggle in my head for so many years, and then suddenly I get loads of validation for it. I finally find somebody who supports me just giving into it. It must be a pretty big headfuck. Amber must be so confused by the two parts of herself.
When she swears, it comes out of the blue, and I'm just like, oh, you said a naughty word. Because I'm 5. Well, I'm glad you got caught up too, Saucy. How do you guys catch up? Yeah, she did it for the money. Bull pucky. Bull pucky. Fem says, since she met Tommy. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if Amber wasn't kissing the high end of her weight gain again, because she's looking round. And she always looks round. Bye, Ruby. Good luck with the bleach. Yeah, her new boyfriend seems... I mean, I haven't seen a lot of him. Now we're talking about this. This is the ADHD chat. Yep. Yes, I haven't seen much of the boyfriend, but I don't watch a lot of her, like... I'm not a member, so I don't watch a lot of her vlogs. But he seems to be pretty cool. And he's cute, so... Good on that. He just got me. That's funny, Saucy Brush. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if she was like 550 either. So 550 and gaining.
Fighting. The one which wants to give in to her food addiction, and the one which wants to reach for health and happiness. We've got more evidence of other feedies that feel this way. One of them on Reddit says, "Feedie here. Honestly, I've got almost no control over my cravings for fast food, and it's gotten to the point that it could be considered an addiction." Again, sound familiar? This shows how easy it would be for Amberlynn to just give over to her food addiction and let it take her away off into the distance to becoming the size of a small yacht. It's scary. It's scary how easy.
Oh, in my head I hear dirt, dirt. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person. USS Amberlynn.
Could be. Losing weight is hard at the best of times, let alone when you don't even really want it, or when part of you genuinely wants to gain.
You're not being mean, Winters. I mean, you are, but you're not. It's... Amber does get a moon face, and Anna's neck thickens out a lot. So, yeah. Dogs like him. Well, that's important. No, it is actually important. He seems to like the dogs, too. I think that was, like, the winning trait for him, is that he likes the dogs. Oh, definitely Cloak on Cloak. What was Foodie's real weight? I'm just curious. That's also true, Hillary. She could be losing... I mean, Foodie is not very physically capable, so she might be losing muscle. I voted for Violet Grey, though, Femmarie. When she was naming the cat, I totally voted for Violet Grey. I love that name. You left work at 3:45, and I'm just now parked at home. Ooh, wow. I've heard traffic's crappy around there anyway, Uncomfortable Ginger, so props for driving through that. Measuring Amber in yachts. Yeah, no, Ilona's... You see, okay. Talking about Ilona. When she made a video, well, about 3 months ago now, and she was like, I'm not going to be competing right now, because she dropped out of training for a competition. And I was like, surely she's not pregnant, because they're not married yet. And I was just like, she couldn't possibly be pregnant. 3 months later... See how you fooled us, Ilona. You're fine, Cree. $440 to 4... Yeah, she was saying she was like 338 or something like that. Wasn't she, Cloak on Cloak? Foodie was saying that. I don't think Amber has muscles. I mean, I think she has the muscles that attach things to the skeleton, to her body, but I don't think she has like muscle that functions.
Weight, which could be the case for Amber. That's the thing, isn't it? That's why this suits Amber so well. She's been battling with her weight for years, at least in some way. And here comes a lifestyle which allows her to ignore the danger, ignore the side effects, ignore the haters, and just buy into the lie that she's doing nothing wrong and convince herself that she's being so well taken care of by her feeder. I can see why Amberlynn is so tempted by this lifestyle. I really can. I found another post from a feedie, and at this point I'm just digging into this more and more. I'm starting to find some really gross stuff. Have a look at this guy. He posted on Fantasy Feeder saying, anyone else dreamt of being kidnapped and fattened to death since they were young?
You know, there's an entire subset of this where it goes beyond just being fattened up, but also like being eaten. And it's a fantasy for obvious reasons, because, you know, I would hope it'd be obvious. Yeah. But this whole, like, being kidnapped and fattened up and that kind of a thing, like, yeah. Jumping back to happier topics. See, here's the thing about Ilona being concerned about how long it would take her to get pregnant. She also thinks, like, she's super old. Like, she's getting too old to be pregnant. And she's like, I don't even think she's 40. I don't even think she's past her mid-30s yet. But I was just kind of like, you're going to be okay. You can chill. You got a lot of life. Like, you can have a very healthy pregnancy into your 40s. Like, you're not... I had a friend who was 46 when she had her second child. So, you know. Cat. I should probably get play on this. But anyway. I didn't like, I wasn't like, oh, you're gonna be pregnant in 3 weeks. I wasn't like that, but I didn't think it would take her very long to get pregnant. So yeah, I'm very happy for them. I would like to be kidnapped and made healthy. I've told my partner on more than one occasion, if I get over a certain weight, that he is to strap me down and starve me. So yeah, exactly. Cloak on cloak. They call you advanced maternal age. Hopefully I won't have to worry about it here much longer, so. I know it's considered old, but it's not really. I mean, there's lots of women who have, especially with today's modern medicine, there's lots of women who are having pregnancies past their 30s. Like, life doesn't end in your 30s. And even without modern medicine, there are still historical records of women having births that they survived past their 30s. Like, being young and pregnant does not actually make your pregnancies like any less dangerous without proper medical intervention. And intervention's not the word I'm wanting. Monitoring? There we go. Maybe that's what I meant. Yeah, I am too. Oh, congrats, Cree. It's pretty funny though, bathtub. Hey, look at the... I mean, I'm assuming the first kid was able to help with the last, though. They do monitor you differently. I mean, I'm not saying it as not being someone who is pregnant. I have had friends who were older who had their children in their 40s. And yeah, there's a lot. You go in a lot more frequently. They do a lot more tests. They do monitor you a lot more aggressively. So... But both your grandmother and mother had kids at 40. Yeah, exactly. It's not that weird. Due to PhD. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, people are like, oh, well, when you have them older, there's a higher chance of things going wrong for the kid. And it's like, is it really? Because the last study I saw on that one really was like the age of the father determining that kind of thing, and I've not really seen anything else about that in years, but I haven't been looking either, so
It takes one sexy time. One special sexy time. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry, my bad. Your oldest son and I are 17 years apart in age. I think geriatric's a bit insulting, thank you.
Pretty creepy, right? But from the research I've done, this is how it works. It looks like feederism, particularly for feedees, the ones who actually want to gain the weight. They get into this during very early stages of childhood. I don't know what Amber did or didn't go through as a child, because as Tiny Blue Anthropologist says, Amber herself is the only source we have for that information. And she has not been a reliable one. So we truly don't know. But what we do know is that she has experienced trauma of some kind. One does not enter the care system for several years, have a mum who is a drug addict, and express disordered eating to the point where they weigh over 200 pounds at age 11 without having been through some kind of childhood trauma. I'm not a psychologist, but I know that much. The trauma she may have gone through, I'm just speculating here, it would maybe make sense that that kind of trauma could be the root of some of this fetish, if indeed she does have it. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Do you think Amber wants to lose weight?
Nope. Winter seas, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry that happened to you, but that's kind of my point. Nothing is a guarantee with fertility, even with age. So, and then there's people like me who have absolutely no intention of birthing children. Like, it's fine. Nothing needs to come out of there.
Do you think she loves eating? Do you think she gains any sexual gratification from it? Is it possible, in your opinion, that she genuinely is a full-on feedee, and happily so? I've done lots and lots of reading about how feederism actually starts and how it manifests in early childhood. If this is something you would find interesting for me to talk about.
Yes. Yes, I would. I can understand how you don't want to become, like, the expert on feederism. Like, I get that part, but, like, yes, I would. I sat through 3.5 hours of Colin talking about lipedema. I will totally sit through however long it takes you talking about the connections between childhood trauma and feederism. I will sit through that, I promise. Who wants to be raising a middle schooler in their 60s? I don't know, somebody who wants kids. That's the thing, like, if you want kids, you want kids. The people who want children, like, earnestly want children, are ready to make the accommodations they need to make in order to have those kids and raise those kids. And then there's people like me. I don't want to deal with kids right now. Like, I don't feel like I'm mature enough to be raising cats and, you know, little shits over here in the chair. So, yeah, my semi-feral child let me give her head scratches today. There you go, see? Small victories.
Please let me know in the comments and I will do so. We can kind of conclude from what I've shown today that although we don't know for certain if Amber is erotically charged by eating, there's definitely evidence that she could be. I am holding off making a final judgment because the truth is I don't know. No.
I don't know, but I'm pretty positive. I can have my opinion, and I feel like my opinion is based on things that I have seen that I view as being evidence, but I am also fully aware that I can be completely wrong. However, as things stand, by my view right now, Amber is a self-feeder, always has been, and this relationship with her and Tommy is like a fucking dream come true for her. But that's my opinion.
No one knows the depths and ins and outs of somebody else's mind, but the things we've looked at today do kind of show that Amber may well have given in to that feedy side of her, which was actually secretly always there. I'm not saying that this means that she's not going to turn out to be a victim of manipulation, because I firmly believe that with Emily involved and with Amber the size that she is, there's no way that that is a healthy situation. She definitely will become a victim if she's not one already. But based off what I've said in this video, perhaps she is a more willing participant than I had initially realised. I'd absolutely love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. I have an 18-year-old student who has a 76-year-old father. Well, there is that. With older parents, you do have that issue. All being trauma-based is kind of too much I mean, define normal is kind of where it's at, Jasmine. Some people think okay, some people think it's normal to I'm trying to think of things. Some people think it's normal to find tickling arousing. And some people are like, if you touch me like that, I will punch you in the balls. So what's normal, right? I don't know, Cloak Uncloak. I don't like Anna makes me so uncomfortable when she talks about adult things like that. Adult time things. I don't know why she makes me I think it's because Anna is an adult. She's 40. And when she talks about adult times, it's like listening to like a 10-year-old talk about it. You know how like when you were 10 and okay, maybe not everybody, but remember when you very first figured out what adult times were, you were still relatively young-ish, right? It feels like she's like that 10 or 11-year-old who found their dad's magazine laying out one day, and now they think that that's what fun times are, adult fun times are. And it's like, it's so uncomfortable hearing her talk about it and watching her hit on guys, and just, it's so uncomfortable. Anna's very creepy towards, she's creepy towards men, yeah. Exactly, when her sees, she makes me uncomfortable because she talks about it as like a child. Yeah, Jinx. I mean, there is average. Normal could be another word for average, because I do believe there is average, otherwise we wouldn't be able to have medicine. But I mean, the average person likes this, that, and something else, right? That's an okay argument. So anything veering outside of average maybe starts to lean towards advanced adult times. But like everything that falls into that category isn't necessarily like the worst thing ever. I mean, some people find feet sexy. I'm not one of them, but some people do, you know? And that's not that weird. Like, it's not like condemning people to the stake for finding someone else's foot attractive. It's just not a thing. Well, Mammy Bell, she is someone who talks about it who hasn't experienced it. Yes, Kale Chips. Anna has the persona of a children's show host, yes. That does set up some weird family dynamics, Jessie B. But it's okay, as weird as that dynamic is, I don't know why I've done this, but I have read medieval documents where family trees are very similar to the situation you're in, because the matriarch had a child at a very advanced age, usually into her 40s. So she would have a child that was roughly the same age as, or she would have a child at the same time that her child was having a child. And so the uncle and the nephew are the same age, right? So I mean, it's not unheard of. And then there's that kind of stuff too. Women who are just pregnant year after year after year. And then there are people of the opinion that feet are gross. I am neutral. I don't really think about it that much. Your dad and his brother went to high school with two of their aunts. Yeah, I mean, my dad and my great uncle were roughly the same age, and I mean they attended college at the same time. They both joined the military at the same time. They served at the same time. But this is my great uncle. This is my grandmother's father, or grandmother's brother. So my oldest niece is 20 and you're 25. Yeah, exactly. It's not, it seems weird because we're told that that's not how things are supposed to work, but it's not a bad theory, Winter Seas. I don't know. I don't know what makes that switch flip for people. Your uncle's 2 days younger, that's funny. This is my younger uncle. Yeah, kale chips, yeah. Then you have Bunny. You're all weird to be. Exactly. Huh. That's crazy, Shadowprint. That's a great name. I'm sorry. That's a beautiful name. All right. It is 6:15. I don't know how much more of Colin's we'll get through, but I am determined to watch some of Colin's today. So, because it's such a long... I don't know why I do this. I can never find his freaking channel. There we go. Here he is. Oh, shoot. I should have put her video in the chat.
Hi.
That works.
In my previous
Alright, anyway. This is the video we just got done watching. If you want to go watch it sans commentary, this would be a good time. Also, go let her know that you liked the video. Don't go over there with hate. I don't want to see it. But do go let her know if you liked it. Give her a thumbs up. She's several K subscribers along than I am. But yeah, go let her know. And let her know if there's something that you want to see more of on our channel. Also, let her know that you support the neon green yarn. Justice for the neon green yarn. Anyway, let's go watch Colin now. Yay, Colin! Shoot. Alright. I have finished this now. So I have seen the whole thing at this point. And we were at 40 something. We were at like 40, 45. So we'll go to 40, 30. That should be fine. Yeah, all hail yarn. So I do know what's coming. Colin left a comment on the live where he said, it was wild watching somebody go through what I went through in real time. And he goes, you haven't even gotten to the wildest part of it yet, or the craziest part of it yet. And I'm like, oh boy. So he wasn't lying. You think he talks too slow? I can speed him up a little bit. No, you have not missed Colin. I thought we would get through the other video quicker because it was only like 30 minutes, but I was very, very wrong. But anyway, all right, before we do anything else, though, I'm going to go pop into the Badenzimmer. I will be right back. And I'm going to pull... Oh, wait. I can do this for you guys, though. Can I do this for you guys? Kitten cam... Nope, that's not going to do it. Oh, maybe that... Nope, that's not it. YouTube kitten cam? Alright, well, let's just pretend like you're watching a kitten video. I'll be right back. I should have had that ready to go. But I didn't.
This is Nessa. I woke her up. She's still half asleep. Aren't you, baby? Aren't you, baby? Hi. Don't know what's happening. Alright, bye, see you. Why doesn't anybody want to sit in my lap these days? Does my lap chop liver? You like chopped liver? Okay, yay. Thought she was going to take my mic out. Alright, back to Colin. Because she does not look... She never looks pleased. She's a shady shade queen. Non-imaginary cat. This is not happy. No, she never is. Is Nessa the cat that sleeps the most? I don't really know, honestly. I've never really tracked it. Hey, feral pigeon! Yay! I know, right? Run by cat butt. Alright, so I will speed him up a little bit. Nope. Oh, do you guys want closed captions on? I guess I should have done that with the other video. I didn't. Speed him up a little bit. He does speed up some of the video clips that he uses, so if they sound particularly like chipmunkish, that's why. So. Alright, let's see if we can get through, I don't know, at least 30 minutes of this, maybe. I have no idea what we were talking about at this point. Let me see if I can... 40? Ouch. Alright, so we had talked about the debate... Okay. We had talked about the start of the debate between the German lipedema doctor and Karen Herbst. And the German doctor had come out and basically called Karen Herbst an idiot in the very politest professional terms. And I don't think we'd heard a rebuttal from Karen Herbst yet. But we will. I'm not a kitten anymore. English. Okay, cool. All right. There's closed captions. Let's go.
By feel. They say it's usually hard, nodular, and fibrotic, but the problem is that obesity can also cause fibrosis, and cellulite often looks and feels the same way. So this diagnostic technique is debated as well.
Contention 4. Is lipedema progressive?
Another major difference between these two documents, the standard of care and the international consensus, is about whether lipedema is necessarily a progressive condition. Does the fat typically grow over time? The standard of care says yes, and even publications outside the US agree. Lipedema does get progressively worse, and they will describe lipedema as having stages of severity. Remember these pictures? Yeah, those are not all pictures of the same woman over time.
Haha, I knew it.
Those pictures show different women at each stage. The international consensus says these types of images cause both patients and professionals to believe that this condition will always get worse over time. But in fact, Dr. Berch gives examples of patients he's seen.
Dr. Berch is the German doctor.
Who maintain a stage 1 or 2 for decades.
Do you see progression of the disease in your lipedema patients like we always see in lymphedema?
I love this question. Great question. Lipedema is not progressive. It's not a progressive disease. We see patients now at the Velde Clinic, we treat about 20, 30 years, who are completely stable because the weight is stable. When the weight remains stable, lipedema syndrome also remains stable. But what we in most cases see that the weight is gaining, that obesity is progressive.
Dr. Herbst believes that lipedema causes fat growth. So even if a patient diets and exercises, their lipedema may continually grow for the rest of their life. In her
Oh, Max. Hang in there. Hang it. It might take us a while to get to the end of this. But hang in there.
opinion, a calorie deficit really wouldn't help.
And if we talk about compliance of tissue again, remember if you have very compliant tissue, as you grow more fat tissue, your body just allows that to happen. It doesn't have that elasticity. If you look at that graph, as you lose compliance.
Women with lipedema and hypermobility can have compliant tissue.
Increasing matrix compliance goes down with rigidity. See, I need Lee. Who was the other person in here with me last time? Decreased actin stress fiber formation and increased... Yep. Here's my thing. Like, Alan. His name's not that. Colin mentions more than one occasion. Well, he doesn't himself, but the doctors he's talking about mention on more than one occasion estrogen. And I was just kind of wondering, estrogen as being a trigger or something that works in tandem with the lipedema, because they both believe lipedema exists. And I'm just kind of wondering out loud, if it's an estrogen hormonal disorder, wouldn't that mean getting the estrogen in the individuals under control, either increasing or decreasing it? I wonder if that would help. I'm just spitballing here. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a doctor of any kind. So I just kind of wondered about that. But ooh, how did I do that? There's an Aussie New Zealand YouTuber, and she's like the type of influencer Anna wants to be. She's got lipo and she's not progressed. Yeah, that's the thing. That's Birch's thing, is that lipedema is non-progressive. And Karen Herbst says that it always progresses, that it will always progress unless you use various treatments. Adipose tissue does make... Yeah. Doc in a box, yeah. Oh, yeah. Lee says I'm not relevant. Pfft, fine. Go back to Colin then.
You increase the amount of aromatase enzyme, you increase the amount of local estrogen within the tissue.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, the way she makes it sound is if you just got the estrogen under control. Anyway.
And what happens when you do that? You decrease fat breakdown. So if you have more fat on the lower part of...
How dare you, Doc in a box? Increased estrogen doesn't just make the law of thermodynamics disappear. How dare?
Your body, you may be generating more estrogen locally, and you may be reducing the breakdown of fat, contributing to an inability to lose weight with diet, exercise, or bariatric surgery.
Dr. Birch would say, no, the weight gain is due to a calorie surplus, just like everyone else. There are a couple of images I showed earlier of women with thin torsos and large legs, and the international consensus claims that these examples are extremely rare. Thin women with lipedema typically only have slightly noticeable disproportion, and it doesn't progress as long as their overall body weight remains stable.
I've seen pictures of women... Okay, I don't know how I'm doing this, but I'm getting goo everywhere. I have seen... Have I? I'm going to let Colin keep talking because I'm not entirely sure I'm correct there. Actin is part of the physical structure inside the cell. He's like, I'll do work when I get home. No, it's fine. Don't do that. And she's the one selling the treatment. Well, yeah, Lucy, that's kind of where this goes. These are real scientists, Betsy. They're both actually doctors. Both of them research doctors, like clinical doctors. Not really a thing in bacteria. That's fair. Herbst is convincing people. They'll say, well, Ava, well.
People who fall into the category of stage 4 or even stage 3 are nearly always obese or morbidly obese.
Contention 5. Is lipedema painful?
Dr. Birch in the ILA would argue that the disproportionate fat itself isn't enough to qualify someone for a lipedema diagnosis. There's one other major symptom they would have to have: pain. The standard of care states that lipedema tissue may be very painful, whereas the international consensus states that pain is required to meet the diagnostic criteria for lipedema.
If you weren't here for the last video, or if you haven't seen this, Colin went over the fact that there is a international standards for lipedema, and then there's the American standards for lipedema. And the international standards were spearheaded by Dr. Birch, and the American standards were spearheaded by Karen Herbst. So Dr. Herbst. So they're both doctors. I'm not going to take that away from them because it's hard to become a doctor, period. But what you do with that doctorate after you get it is, you know. Where was I going with this? Oh, so when he's referring to, so he refers to both of them, and he makes a distinction, but we missed him telling us which one is what. I'll try to remember when it pops up to kind of point it out, because there's the international consensus and then there's the standard, the US standards. So show me a properly peer-reviewed paper. Well, Betsy, that's another thing. God damn it, hitting on all the things here. You're funny, Lee. You know, if Colin's up for it, that's fine. But I don't want to like pressure him. Also, he's busy. He has like a real job and stuff. We can argue if I do. These big concepts with no pulse to the average patient mind or medical literacy, it enrages me. Well, okay. The only defense I will give to, because Birch does it too, the examples that Colin pulls from, some of them, they are at conferences, they are at professional conferences giving presentations, so they're not trying to speak to the average person. They're speaking to peers. And I mean, coming from the archaeology background that I've got, when we go to conferences, we say things differently there than we say them to average people. Why? I think it makes us feel better. I don't know. But that's the only defense I'll give it. It's not great for scientific literacy. If your hormones are affected through bionegative feedback, then does excess fat and estrogen produce the effects? The ovary production of estrogen and alike. I can't answer that question. That's just the nature. Yeah. I mean, you gotta use the fancy words. Look, man, I went to college for like 8 years. I have to use my degree somehow, and it's with fancy words, all right?
Just to repeat again, the ILA believes that if you only have larger legs, that's not enough to qualify for a lipedema diagnosis. You would also have to experience pain in the fat tissue. Other specialists are a little fuzzy on that point.
I was going to say, the reason I actually stopped this, I think, well, those of you who follow my stuff with Anna, because that's what got Colin started on this, not my stuff, Anna got him started. Anna went from, excuse me, Anna went from no pain whatsoever, running a 5K, doing daily exercises, going swimming, climbing on rocks, going to Disney, walking 2 miles, blah, 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 to, oh my God, my lipedema hurts so much. I can't even walk a mile without it hurting me. I can't even let my dog lay on my lap because it's so painful. I can't lift my arms past here because it's so painful. Going from lifting these fucking things above her head to, I can't even lift my arm. I just want to remind people of that. You can become a, I don't like pseudo expert. I like citizen, like the concept of the citizen scientist. Like I'm a big believer in that. There's no reason why you as a non-educated professional couldn't participate in science and scientific studies, and why you as a non-professional couldn't read things and become, you know, a citizen expert on it. I'm not going to say that your expertise is ever going to be comparable to like Dr. Herbst or Birch, right? Colin's not on that level, but Colin knows quite a bit. And there's a lot that Colin learned to make this video that he's not putting in here because it's not relevant to the immediate topic, right? So I could probably go to Colin and ask him various questions, and he probably has some notes somewhere or may be able to recall things. There's nothing wrong. And I think it's important that people do that because it also shows that you're learning how to like critically think. You're learning how to vet sources. You're learning to be skeptical. You know, these are important traits. So yeah, I don't have a problem with people becoming, you know, citizen experts or citizen scientists on things. Don't come up to me and be like, my 4 years of reading Google is like equivalent to your 4 years of grad school, because like that's insulting, but you might not be wrong, but it's still insulting. I don't think, I know Colin would not walk up to even Karen Herbst and be like, I know more than you do. It wouldn't happen because it's not accurate. But anyway. Yeah, exactly. There are perfectly intelligent, capable people who have no degree. Exactly. That doesn't, just because you don't have a degree in something doesn't mean you can't learn about it, study it, become an armchair expert on it. I mean, there's no reason why you can't do those things. Okay, buds. Yeah, there you go, Max. Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, critical thinking. It's a lost skill.
Usually they'll say something like, lipedema may be painful, or lipedema is usually painful. It's quite a distinction for the ILA to insist that lipedema must be painful. That's part of the reason why Dr. Berich and his colleagues actually proposed to change the name of lipedema. Number one, they don't believe fluid edema is involved, and the name confuses that point. And number two, they want to emphasize that this is better categorized as a pain disorder.
Finally, okay, I get where the edema part is coming from now. That makes sense. Never mind. I got lost around here at one point, and I'm not lost now. Thank you, Colin. You don't need a degree to spot a bullshitter. You do not, no.
One proposed name in the international consensus is lipalgia syndrome, which would mean painful fat syndrome. It's interesting to me that these two groups seem to split their focus between the two major aspects of lipedema, fat versus pain. Dr. Herbst and her colleagues seem to be very focused on the development of the fat and what could be causing it. Dr. Berich and his colleagues believe that the fat develops just like everyone else's. They're more focused on finding out why it's painful. They both care about both of these aspects, but their different reasonings behind why these symptoms occur means their treatment methods are also very different.
Contention 6. Treatments.
They can agree on compression, but they recommend it for different reasons. Dr. Herbst believes patients need compression with garments, pumps, and MLD because these treat lymphatic dysfunction, fluid edema, and potentially she thinks these treatments could slow the progression. Dr. Berich believes compression garments help with pain, but the other treatments are unnecessary since there is no edema, and compression wouldn't stop fat growth since he believes that's caused by regular weight gain behaviors.
Yeah, take that, Dr. Herbst. I had a thought. Oh, Anna has shared now both a video and a short where she goes to see Karen Herbst. Like she meets the woman in the flesh and gets diagnosed by Karen Herbst as not having lymphedema. But when Anna went to go see Dr. Amron, who is the person that performed the two liposuction surgeries on her, Amron said that Anna had lymphedema, in that she had both. So, and then when she went to go see the massage therapist, who is also in this, she said that Anna had lymph issues as well. And she could tell because she touched Anna's leg. I don't know what other diagnostic criteria you need there. But the thing is, so what does Anna have? You know, she's been diagnosed by an expert as having lymphedema, and she's also been diagnosed by the expert as not having lymphedema. So what's wrong with her? Why does she need the MLD? Sorry about the shaking. Why does she need the MLD? Why does she need the compression pumps? Why does she need the wraps? That kind of thing. Anyway. Whose tale is it? You guys are funny.
Both sides agree that patients should try to eat healthy and exercise, but again, Dr. Herbst recommends exercise largely to increase lymphatic flow, while Dr. Birch recommends this to prevent further weight gain and improve mobility. One of the other major differences between these two viewpoints are their surgical recommendations. For morbidly obese patients, Dr. Birch recommends weight loss surgery. Weight loss surgery would address the more urgent issue of obesity, which may help improve lipedema as well.
Please note, many self-proclaimed experts will tell you that weight loss has no impact.
Okay, look. This is academic smack talk, in case you didn't know. Self-proclaimed experts. Karen.
On the lipedema. In fact, the opposite is true. As you can see here, the volume of the thigh at the y-axis and the time after surgery, the first and second year after at the x-axis. And patients with lipedema lost the same amount of volume in the thigh as the control group, even a bit more.
But Dr. Herbst claims that weight loss surgery may
Kind of sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger there when he was talking. I did a bit more. Yes, Anna is a special, unique snowflake. Yes, I keep forgetting that. Well, whether that's true or not, Doc in a Box, she has been diagnosed twice with both having it and not having it by people with a DR in front of their name. Winter seas. Giving it, yeah, it's exactly as per my last email, exactly. Oh, I haven't seen that movie and I don't want to see it.
may not help with lipedema symptoms. She isn't against it, and she's even said she has recommended it for some patients, but she thinks weight loss surgery doesn't always improve lipedema limbs. And theoretically, it wouldn't help those patients who have whole body lipedema at all.
This is a woman who was a patient of mine. She also has obesity and lipedema. So in blue shorts, it's before sleeve gastrectomy, and in the gray shorts, it's after sleeve gastrectomy. And you can see she did lose weight on her abdomen.
She's lost significant amount of weight. Oh God, this is that again. A 45-year young woman. Bitch, I am old, okay? I have survived 45 effing years on this planet. I demand respect for that much. Don't call me young. Why do my glasses do this? I don't... Why do they do this? Where does it come from? Yeah, whatever, it's gone now. Oh, look, I can read. Is everybody back now? I saw the chat got disconnected. Herbst does not have diet recommendations because Herbst does not believe that it is a weight-related issue. The constant contradictions from Herbst is that... See, a couple of you in here have some familiarity with this kind of stuff. I, again, am not a medical doctor. I just know professional smack talk when I hear it. Oh, you're not crazy, Hillary. You're not crazy. This picture doesn't prove her point. This woman, this is apparently the same woman. I'm not gonna lie, her boobs got perkier after she lost weight. No one cares about that, but I noticed it right off the bat. She lost a shit ton of weight, man. You go, whoever you are. Her thighs, her stomach, her arms... her back fat. Her boobs look bigger, but I think that's just because her belly is smaller. And she's standing up straighter after she lost weight, probably because she can. You've watched 1 million of them? Why, Kat? I mean, that came out not the way I meant for it to come out. I'm curious as to why you have watched so much by Herbst. She can't charge for a diet. Now, Winter Seas. Now.
Which is great. She also lost a little weight on her arms, and you can see that her cuff.
She lost a ton of weight on her arms. And you
actually improved.
Yeah, because she doesn't have fat spillage over her ankles. Gravity.
After the surgery. So I think surgery does help the obesity component of lipedema. It may also help the lipedema component, but it does not get rid of all the lipedema tissue.
Instead, she thinks a lot of these patients, regardless of weight, should receive liposuction. Dr. Berich isn't against liposuction, but he doesn't recommend it for most patients. These are radically different treatment plans. Do we recommend pumps and MLD or not? Do we recommend bariatric surgery or liposuction? And what are our expectations for these treatments? This is why figuring out the cause of lipedema is so important. It's hard to know how to treat something when the experts can't even agree on what it is. From what I've seen, a lot of popular treatment plans just borrow from lymphedema treatment plans. It's almost a metaphor for how lipedema patients get lost because both the name and the symptoms get confused for lymphedema.
Hence why the International Committee wants to change the name. Masochist, I suppose. Has terrible... Oh, well, that makes sense at least. Okay, the upside seems to be for lymphedema that the compression pumps and the, maybe not the massaging, but there are treatments for lymphedema. There's treatments for lipedema as well, but like if it's a fat activated disease, you'd expect the lipedema to progress as well. Right, exactly. And that's kind of what Colin gets into it. That's kind of what they see. They see a well, okay. Berich sees a correlation between obesity and lipedema. The higher the obesity rate, the higher the obesity on the individual, the more lipedema they present with. Yep. Herbst doesn't think the fat is obesity related. She thinks it's all lipedema related. Well, that's the thing though, Betsy. There may not be diseased tissue. But again, this is that's way ahead of I'm way ahead of Colin.
There's no argument that Allen and Hines thought there was fluid edema when they first coined the term lipedema in 1940, but Dr. Berich argues it's time for a paradigm shift because that's an outdated and scientifically unsupported view in the modern day.
Well, good luck with that.
Dr. Herbst pioneers ahead with more and more research into the fluid aspect of lipedema. Is that a waste of time? I would say not necessarily, because any research into the cause of lipedema would be useful, right?
Ouch.
One problem, though, is when everyone can't even...
That sucks, Kat. I feel for your sister. Look, there are these things do exist. It's just what Herbst is saying and calling lipedema and lymphedema does not match up with what Berich would call those things. There's a lot of moving parts here, and I apologize. I will say something wrong.
Agree which patients qualify for the diagnosis, which may potentially skew the results of studies. Dr. Berich's group would only diagnose a patient with lipedema if they had disproportionate fat on their limbs and pain within the fat tissue. Dr. Herbst's group may still diagnose someone with lipedema if they have no pain. So that begs the question, if someone did have disproportionate fat but they have no pain, what does Dr. Berich and the ILA think they have?
Chapter 7, Differential Diagnosis.
A lot of illnesses share symptoms. Misdiagnosis is frustrating, but sometimes doctors do have to kind of troubleshoot to figure out what's wrong with you. For every diagnosis, there's usually a list of differential diagnoses, other possible diagnoses that could fit your symptoms. Lipedema is no different, except because it is a clinical diagnosis with no reliable test, there's a lot more troubleshooting involved. Other possible diagnoses are lymphedema, obesity, venous insufficiency, and if you have no pain, you might have something called lipohypertrophy. Now, this is something that's also quite controversial. Someone like Dr. Herbst may see someone who has disproportionate fatty limbs but no pain, and she might still diagnose that person with lipedema. Someone like Dr. Berich would say, no, if you have no pain and no symptoms of disease, then you may just have lipohypertrophy. And all that means is someone has excess fat on their legs. It's not even necessarily a diagnosis per se. It would be somewhat equivalent to diagnosing someone with cellulite. Dr. Berich says lipedema always stems from lipohypertrophy, but lipohypertrophy itself is not the same as lipedema. It's kind of like how a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square.
Why do all these words have to sound so similar? I hate this. I'm dyslexic. This is not helpful. Big fat. Thank you, Doc in a Box. Yeah, so the interesting thing that you guys are sharing over here in the chat, keep in mind, none of us are well, some of us are, but most of us are not doctors. It seems like the people who have the lymphedema from the chat here are people who have had other traumatic problems. Like, I mean, we're not going to sit here and pretend like cancer isn't a big deal. So, especially when it's removing your lymph nodes. You know, I mean, so that the lymphedema over here seems to be coming from, it seems to be stemming from other outside sources. Herbst thinks that it just is part of the progression of lipedema. Internet sympathy and money, is that a differential diagnosis? Yes, K-Buns, it is. Yeah, thank you, Ababel. Like, I do pretty well, but whew, this one on... Anyway.
Fat distribution is largely genetic, and if the only problem someone has is that their legs are bigger than average, that doesn't necessarily mean they have an illness. I mean, Dr. Barrett even goes so far as to say that one differential diagnosis is just healthy legs.
Now, this is, in my view, the most
healthy
important
legs.
Differential diagnosis, healthy legs. What is disproportionate and not is often determined by the spirit of the time, by the zeitgeist, the German word zeitgeist. And it would be wrong to say that only women with this body or leg shape or this have normal legs, and the other three, they have sick legs. And it would also be wrong to say that only the lady in the middle has normal legs, and the other legs are sick or are ill.
That's why, to him and his colleagues with the ILA, pain is essential to the diagnosis. If there is no inflammation, there's no pain, then there's really no reason to go through all the stress and cost of the treatments for lipedema. Of course, this type of person could opt for cosmetic liposuction, but if this isn't relieving any symptoms of illness, insurance or the government would probably not pay for it. And it's hard enough to determine lipedema in a healthy weight person. It's arguably more difficult to diagnose lipedema in an obese person because they just have increased fat in general. It's sometimes hard to tell if an obese person is actually disproportionate since excess fat can be distributed in so many ways.
His German accent isn't what commands my respect. The fact that he started this conversation off by basically telling Karen Herbst that she's a fucking idiot, that was what got my attention. It was done in a very professional term, but yeah, he was like, he came out swinging. That's what got my attention.
It's also common for obese people to experience musculoskeletal pain, so it's more difficult to identify if their pain is isolated to their joints and muscles because of obesity, or in the fat tissue because of lipedema. One thing that both sides can agree on is that mental health is a huge aspect of lipedema. A lot of patients struggle with depression, anxiety, and self-image issues, and both sides recognize that treating a patient's mental health is just as important as treating their physical health. But perhaps...
So why isn't Anna in therapy? Why haven't I heard any of those doctors that Anna is dealing with? Why haven't I heard a single one of them tell her to get her ass to therapy? Anyway.
The most controversial opinion Dr. Barrett and the ILA hold is that some lipedema patients could be suffering from psychosomatic pain. Now, here's where we have to acknowledge a few things. Dr. Barrett is a man, lipedema affects women almost exclusively, and for basically all of human history, women's health has been dismissed and mishandled by men.
Amen.
I recognize I'm also a man talking about a mostly women's issue, but I hope you will grant me some compassion when I say I think Dr. Barrett does make some good points. I've watched his few talks that are available online and read some of his papers about lipedema, and he usually offers this differential diagnosis in all of them.
And of course, our patients suffer from pain in the soft tissue of the legs, sometimes the arms. But the pain perception, as I showed, is strongly connected with the mental stress, the depression, the stress level of our patients. And of course, they suffer also from their mental issues. Patients with lipedema syndrome suffer from weight gain.
It's the unfortunate part of the people whose English is not their first language. The mental issues. I know what you're trying to say, but the way it comes out is the unfortunate part. But anyway.
85% are obese, 50% are morbidly obese. And many of them suffer from a poor fitness. I can't walk the stairs. And when they feel stigmatized because that obesity is stigmatized in our society.
They pay her to
and of course, they suffer of a lack of self-acceptance because of the current ideal of beauty.
And this was one I initially struggled with. I admit it took me a few times to fully listen and understand what he was saying because initially I thought he was being dismissive and frankly a little misogynistic.
I didn't take it that way, but yeah, I'm glad that Colin's trying to clock it though. He's trying to be open about it. The thing that shifted it for me was the doctor said the current standards of beauty or something to that effect, meaning that he was fully aware that this is a societal issue because, you know, the society's definition of attractive changes periodically. So him saying that they're upset that they don't match the current definition of that they don't look beautiful in today's standards. That's what clocked it for me. But I'm glad that Colin's being open-minded about catching that, because this is something that does affect predominantly women. There are some men, but mostly it's women or people born that way. But the point is that because of that, it very easily could have just been completely dismissed, because a lot of women's issues are. Yeah, mental anguish can cause physical pain. Doctors have known for years that stress can cause literal physical pain. You can stress yourself sick. But anyway.
He's basically saying that someone who doesn't fit the impossible beauty standards in our society, say someone with larger legs, may experience such intense dissatisfaction and self-consciousness that it manifests with physical pain. He also notes that a large percentage of lipedema patients had mental disorders that existed before their symptoms of lipedema.
I like you, Max. That's funny. And I think it's... I don't hate you because you're fat. You're not fat because I hate you. Excuse you. Fat phobia causes people to be fat. Thought you knew that. No pay equals it ceases to exist. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah. Anyway. You're not muted, Saucy. I don't even have a mod in here right now. And God knows I don't pay attention. Professional smack talk. Yeah, it is, because it's like, if you don't know, you won't catch it. If you do know, you're sitting in the corner going, ooh. Well, yeah. Yeah, Kat. I mean, the obvious. One neuro said I was just overweight. Yikes. I don't know what that is, but since I don't know what it is, I'm assuming it's something bad. Yeah, exactly, like Ruby said. Stress is evil. Oh, oops.
Began. A lot of people would interpret him saying that as dismissing these women's pain, which is a problem in the medical field. And initially I kind of thought that too, but now I personally don't 100% agree that's the case here. I hope this doesn't come across as dismissive on my end as well. It's
not at all
a story that's much
too
long to tell right now, but I have experienced psychosomatic pain and experienced the effects of a placebo. Believe me when I tell you, I struggled to understand my own experience for years, and I only recently came to realize that my problem very likely was all in my head. I think a lot of nuance gets lost when people say, oh, it's all in your head.
The placebo effect is a real thing. That's why I'm like, when I find something that works to fix an issue I'm having, I'm like, I don't want to know if it is or is not the real cure. You know, if taking a sugar pill every morning makes me feel like I'm $1 million and I can function throughout the day, I'm taking the sugar pill. Don't bust my bubble. Anyway. Yeah, what Doc in the Box said about that. Yeah, that's the problem with what apparently seems to be happening with Herbst and her cohort. Stress does increase cortisol. Yeah, okay, you caught yourself there. Yeah, I was going to be a dick. Stress does increase cortisol, and it can also cause weight gain, but yeah, not 500 pounds. Nocebo? Oh, is that where it doesn't work even though it should work? Yeah, that's my partner right there.
People often say that to be dismissive, but I do genuinely believe that that's sometimes true. And just because a problem is mental doesn't make it any less real or impactful than a physical problem. The only difference is how you go about treating it. I think Dr. Berich and his colleagues would agree to that statement. After all, they do recommend the same treatments regardless of where they think the pain comes from. And whether or not the pain itself is caused by mental issues, therapy is often recommended for lots of people living with pain disorders, because living with a chronic condition can be mentally taxing for anyone. But a lot of people hate that take, including Dr. Herbst's committee and many patients. And I can understand why. I don't think it explains all or even most lipedema patients' pain, but I also don't even think Dr. Birch thinks that, because he says that the most likely causes of pain in lipedema are inflammation and tissue hypoxia. But he still thinks psychosomatic pain is a worthwhile differential diagnosis to...
What's hypoxia? God damn it, Colin. What's hypoxia? Cymbalta is a drug, exists partially to treat pain caused by depression. Oh. See, I don't know these things. They all learn brioche has many sides. That's funny. Turned out I had a huge stress fracture. Ooh, ouch. Sometimes doctors are assholes to women, yes. I will say this. My OBGYN is an excellent OBGYN, also female. Yeah. And my two male doctors, who are my GPs, like they're very kind. If they're dismissing me, they're doing it when they're out of the room, I guess is what I'm saying. That's what I thought. Thank you, everybody. Low oxygen. All right. I was like, I think that's what that means.
To consider for a small percentage of these patients. People like Dr. Herbst would argue that living with this painful condition is what causes the mental distress. And I agree. I can see both sides of this argument, and I also don't think they're mutually exclusive. I see both sides argue their points as if they both can't be true at the same time, and I think that's pretty silly. But there is one aspect of Dr. Herbst's argument that I don't necessarily agree with.
The development of depression and anxiety in people with lipedema is likely multifactorial, including from the lipedema tissue itself. So if you have depression or anxiety, don't beat yourself up about it. It's not a weakness that you have.
I mean, you shouldn't do that anyway.
Actually could be because of the hormones that are being released by the lipedema tissue itself.
See, this is another one of those moments where I'm like, okay, if it's the hormones, it's obviously estrogen, because that's what we're talking about. So wouldn't getting the estrogen... I'm going to keep saying this over and over again. I know no one can actually answer this question for me. But yeah, I just keep going back to that. But again, not a medical doctor. But Herbst is saying that the literal tissue itself, the presence of the tissue, is causing the stress and the anxiety. Look, man, anxiety gives no shits, all right? And there's nothing, you haven't done anything wrong, I guess is where I'm going with that. If you need to go get help for your anxiety, I really hope you can, and you should, if you can. Some people can't. I understand. Well, that's not helpful at all, Ruby Skies. I'm very sorry to hear that, Bunny. You guys are funny.
Or through hypermobile joints.
And frankly, I don't think she has sufficient evidence to be making this claim. Something else Dr. Birch refutes is the idea that obesity itself could be a differential diagnosis. So a doctor could say, right or wrong, you don't have lipedema, you're just obese. Or they could say, you're not obese, you just have lipedema. That's...
Can you imagine? No, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just fat.
Something you'll see a lot in the literature, and I've even called obesity a differential diagnosis a few times myself. But the problem, Dr. Birch says, is that quite often for lipedema patients, they have both.
Obesity is definitely not a differential diagnosis of lipedema syndrome. Definitely not.
Interesting.
Obesity is in most cases neither a misdiagnosis nor differential diagnosis. Obesity is an additional diagnosis, and in most cases, it is the main diagnosis.
What does Dr. Herbst's committee think? Well, we've already heard a few of their opinions, but I think we also need look no further than her paper, titled Rare Adipose Disorders Masquerading as Obesity. She includes lipedema as one of those disorders. You may have noticed that it's mostly the ILA offering differential diagnoses, and that's simply because Dr. Herbst and her colleagues don't seem to focus on it as much. Most of the time when they discuss other diagnoses, they're talking about the overlap between those and lipedema, because there are indeed a bunch of comorbidities. Or they're mentioning other illnesses in the context of people being misdiagnosed before they get a lipedema diagnosis. That isn't to say they don't think there are differential diagnoses, because they definitely do, but I would argue that they don't discuss or encourage differential diagnosis nearly as much as the ILA does. Now, at this point, we've gone over a lot of...
The ILA, for those of you who are like me, That's the international group
of technical things, and I appreciate it if you're still here with me. And if you feel like your brain is being pulled in too, join the club.
I feel like I'm going in circles, but that's mostly because like all of these words sound so similar, and that's not something Colin can fix.
Vacillated so wildly between these two standpoints and everywhere in between while I was doing my research. I started out listening to Dr. Herbst just because she was easy to find, a leading researcher, and she seemed to have a lot of knowledge about this condition. But I couldn't reconcile
well, when you're the one making the condition up, anyway.
Her belief that lipedema could cause spontaneous weight gain because of the laws of thermodynamics. I mean, I'm not an expert. I will once again reference my English degree, but I will say I am biased against that view because I myself have lost a lot of weight through calorie counting. I have a basic grasp on how energy storage works. Excess calories are stored as fat, and in order to burn that fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit. The laws of physics do indeed apply to the human body, so you can't—
do they though? Do they?
Create fat out of nothing. So I thought maybe lipedema affects a person's metabolism, but could it affect the metabolism to this degree?
This is 600-pound life legs, you know? It's very, I won't say it's rare, but I don't feel like I see people on 600-pound life getting lipedema diagnosis from Dr. Now, you know, because this is literally my exposure to these kind of things. So I could be wrong though. You're welcome, Ava. We're in the same boat. It's all right.
There are patients who look like this, falling into the category of morbidly obese, and they claim they starve themselves. And some professionals stand behind that claim, stating that lipedema severely lowers metabolism.
And eventually it will begin to slow your metabolism.
This man. Watch her face while he's talking to him.
Metabolism down, because this fat is not only responding to hormones, it's producing estrogen and other hormones that progressively makes it harder and harder to lose weight. So you're about stage 2, she just begins to lose the whole battle with it, and she finds herself starving, eating very, very little, and she's—
look at her face. You're a saint. Well, you should look at them sideways, K-Buns. Hey, Dolce! Ah, that's why you're always late, because you're cleaning a barn. That makes sense. I won't hear it, Colin. Thermodynamics does not apply to Anna. That has been an established fact.
Still putting on weight, right?
I personally didn't understand how that could be possible. How could someone starve and gain weight to this level?
Doc in a box, we have already covered. Anna is a special snowflake.
Even if they did have a lowered metabolism. Most of my skepticism came from that claim. I couldn't understand how a leading expert like Dr. Herbst held this view. She is highly respected in the scientific community.
Right, Betsy? I didn't notice it at first either, but now that I'm like, I've been clocking Anna on like feeder-ish gestures for a little while now. I don't know if she's knowingly doing it or if it's just, you know, a subconscious thing, but I've been noticing minor behaviors here and there with Anna that kind of fall into the feederism, to kind of bring everything full circle here. The feederism stuff, words I can't say on YouTube. Like when she ate that hot dog, which also comes full back because that's before she went to go see Karen Herbst, or after, at some point in that visit. And she's like, A, deep throating the MFer, and B, letting food fall down her. Like, that's a thing. And then, sorry if you guys can hear me playing with that, I apologize. And then that, I just noticed that, and Betsy noticed it too with her. First off, she's standing weird. She's standing so that she's got her gut hanging out way further than she normally stands. She's even tucking her chin in. She never stands like that normally. She also never has her fat apron hanging out. She almost always has something over that so you can't see the apron. I mean, you know it's there, but she never has it on blast like that. She never has that much exposed. even in her bikinis. So the whole posture and the whole positioning that she's in there for that Amron video is not typical. And it could be that like her patting her stomach and that is just kind of like a self-soothing gesture in the moment, because it's like I keep saying, it's not a typical way that Anna runs around half naked all the time, but that not like this. So yeah, her anti-inflammatory diet. The cotton candy on the shirt. How the fuck do you get cotton candy on a shirt? And you're not a child. But the glizzy. Yes, the glizzy. There's an actual name for it. People like Anna. Fair. Yeah, mammy, exactly. There's a lot of people that do that, though. Anna's not the only one, and we'll meet a bunch of them through Colin's video. Yeah, she's standing like a little... Yeah, I'm just a little girl. Betsy. Yeah, she's... Yeah. It's like a Serrana hot dog. It looked good, don't get me wrong. I'm not on an anti-inflammatory diet. I still probably shouldn't eat it. I am still trying to lose weight. It probably is not going to help. Yeah, and then there's that uncomfortable ginger.
Community, but it felt like her views didn't match up to basic physics. But then again, I'm no scientist. When I discovered Dr.
I am.
It felt like his view explained everything. But then the other side, or experts landing somewhere in the middle, presented opposing research that seemed compelling. There are experts with opinions all over the spectrum, with their own research and studies with contradictory findings.
Screw those people. Sorry. Don't listen to me.
I found it fascinating and confusing, and it's what led me to making this video. And I was tempted to end right here and say, I guess we'll just have to wait for newer, better research. But I was frustrated by my own lack of understanding, so I decided to try to dig deeper.
Midori, how dare you? I have no idea, honestly. This is going to be the only live I do this week. I would like to get Colin's video done. You know, if we don't get it done at all, it's fine. You guys should go watch it anyway. It's a very long video all at one time, so I'm gonna try to watch the whole thing on the channel. So here we are with that. But yeah, I'll probably be wrapping this up here pretty soon, honestly, because I'm gonna give it another 15 minutes. But Winter sees, that's hilarious. That's kind of what happened to me the last time I went into the doctor's, though. I had to go in for just, you know, your yearly kind of thing. And my doctor's like, you know, we go through everything else, literally everything else. And he looks at me and he goes, okay, well, we have to talk about one more thing. And I knew he was going to say your weight. And he goes, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, you're kind of overweight. And I'm like, no, I get it. I'm fat. It's fine. He's like, okay. I just want to make sure we can talk about it. I'm like, hell yeah, we can talk about it. I know. I'm not stupid. I see myself. I dress myself every day. You know? I'm not as overweight as I could be. But yeah, I mean, you're overweight. Yep. You really think Anna is the modern day version of those sisters who never ate food and were big famous? Oh yeah. I hope it's self-soothing because it's weird. It is. I honestly think it's self-soothing because, like I said, the posture and the exposure is not normal even for Anna. Excuse me. So I think it probably was a self-soothing thing. Also, she is like overacting in that one. Like I told you to watch her face while she's looking at Amron. She's over emoting that entire video. But anyway.
And I was totally unprepared for what I found.
Chapter 8, Dr. Karen Herbst, Part 2.
Okay, this is where it starts to get deep. This is where I started going, oh, okay, well, everything I thought about her, because up to this point, I'm like, all right, maybe I'm wrong about Karen Herbst, you know, maybe I'm not giving her the credit. She is a doctor. She's clinical. She has done the research. She has done the work. Yeah, here we go to part 2.
I mentioned before that Dr. Herbst is extremely easy to find online. She's featured in a lot of YouTube videos, and those are some of my first exposures to lipedema research. Sometimes she gives talks, sometimes she presents her own research and theories, sometimes she answers patient questions. And I have to say, it was very hard for me to hang with a lot of these videos because it's a lot of technical language I don't understand.
Also within extracellular matrix are immune cells like macrophages, eosinophils, mast cells, but they're also fibroblasts, which stimulate inflammation. And
I know these words.
one of the most important parts of the extracellular matrix is hyaluronic acid, or hyaluronin, which is the red line shown here. And you can see that hyaluronin interacts directly with the cell, and it binds up other proteins to which other glycosaminoglycans bind. So hyaluronic acid is a glycosaminoglycan. It's a sugar molecule, but it doesn't have a negative charge. Whereas other glycosaminoglycans, like on that brush-looking structure, do have a negative charge. When we talk about connective tissue, we're talking about cells such as fibroblasts and chondrocytes in cartilage, osteoblasts, and osteocytes in bone. But
this is where I'm saying he has this sped up. So since I've got it sped up, it's real fast. Yeah, she did seem to catch herself and put her hands behind her back. That's why I'm like, I think it's a self-soothing thing. It's creepy, but I think it was self-soothing. It's ultimately not fair to the patient, and it puts the doc at risk, both saying something or not saying something. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You get all of these literally obese women, and they're like, there's nothing wrong with me, even though I'm obese. And it's like, obesity is what's wrong with you. Obesity is a medical condition. It is the abnormality. The act of being obese is unhealthy. So yeah, there is something wrong with you. You are obese. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but the reality is, in the real world where the rest of us live, Doc in a Box says, I was in obesity class 3 and no one said a word about it. Jeez. I can't imagine. Of course, I've never been that big, so. But I can't imagine getting bigger than I am and nobody saying anything about it. Like, I feel like that's a failure on your doctor's end there. But I also understand, like, my doctor was really scared. Like, I could tell he did not want to talk about it, bringing it up to me. And every fucking time I go to the doctor's office, and I've been to the doctor's office a lot recently because last year I had surgery, they want to weigh you. I'm not mad about that. That's not what I'm mad about. Every freaking time they ask me, is it okay if we weigh you? Yes, it is okay if you take my biomarkers to make sure I'm not dying. Thank you. Like, anyway. Oh, you're funny, K-Buns. Colin got sent where you got sent? Okay. That's good to know, actually. Hey, you and me, Doc. We both got about 20 to go. ALR's imaginary doctor. You're not healthy. Period. Don't get me wrong. If I had the opportunity to eat a Serrano hot dog, I would 100% eat that thing. I would adjust for the rest of the day, but I would 100% eat that thing. It looked good. See, here's the thing though, Kim. Obesity is the health issue. It is the problem. It leads to other things, yes, but obesity is the issue. And that's kind of what... Not Herbst, the other one. Berch. It's kind of what Berch keeps going on about. Obesity and lipedema coincide. And then there also has to be pain. But, yeah. But Herbst over here wants to deny that obesity is even a thing. And hence we have Anna. Don't get me screaming... Yeah, exactly. Winter seas. Screaming about it doesn't make your liver smaller or you less fat. You know? Okay, it's fat phobia. You should be afraid of being fat. It will kill you. Or at least make your life miserable until you die earlier than you probably needed to. after having a shitty life because your body doesn't work right. Anyway. Hey, lard ass. That's family. Oh, if I deleted somebody's something, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. God damn it. Stop it, clicky. Here's my chat. Here we go. All right, let's get through some more of this before I...
But in fat would be just the fibroblasts, but there are also fibers, which I've mentioned,
Herbst is
collagen, but
US.
also elastin and other elastic fibers.
This
and then
is
there are
Herbst.
these proteoglycans and glycoproteins, which I'll talk about. And then you've got your tissue fluid.
I've heard her say glycosaminoglycans enough times that I can pronounce it, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what they do. At the beginning of my research, I went back and forth between Dr. Herbst's videos and those by Dr. Berich and other experts, and at first, I didn't know who to believe. I did lean more towards Dr. Berich's views when I found him because they seemed more logical, but Dr. Herbst presented so much more research, more theories, more content in general, and trying to square all of Dr. Herbst's in-depth explanations with Dr. Berich's relatively simple ones was somewhat difficult. I came away from these videos with way more questions than answers. Was Dr. Berich just not aware of the most recent research? Did he and the ILA
he's aware.
have alternative explanations for the things that Dr. Herbst was saying? Did anyone? I tried looking up these concepts, but again, I'm not medically trained, and so a lot of the studies I found went way over my head. I knew there was disagreement, but I didn't know enough to explain what the disagreement was at like a cellular level. But the more I watched Dr. Herbst's many available talks on YouTube, the more questionable things I began to notice.
The fact that Herbst is making herself that available is not a red flag, but it is a point to consider. Who said what about... Oh, Hillary. The BMI is not the end-all be-all. It is a mark. It is a way of measuring health, because that's literally what it was designed for. But it's not the only measurement of health. If you can get within range of where you're supposed to be, you're probably fine. And there's also the hip-to-waist ratio, which is a lot more... it's better for women, honestly, because our hips and our waist. But if you look that one up, you can find it. I don't remember what the formula is, but you basically just measure your hips, obviously, and then you measure the circumference of your waist, and there's like a formula, and it gives you another number. It's not a BMI thing, but it's a good. But between the two of them, it gives you a better picture of where you're at. And then there's the doctor. If the doctor says, if you drop 40 pounds and you're still outside of your BMI, and the doctor says, yeah, you're healthy, then you're fine. But looks like somebody else has already said that. My last checkup, he gave me shit for being on the lower end of my BMI, but I had my body comp scan results and my blood work, and all was acceptable. Yeah, okay, so that's like the reverse of what I was saying, but it's still my point. You know, horse and rider wellness came in under BMI, but is healthy, according to her doctor's measurements. Why are people afraid to say? Because it's fat phobic, Ava. Jeez, don't you know that fat people are oppressed? God. Okay, I don't think it's a red flag. I think I was leading people the wrong way and then got distracted by bright and shiny things. If Karen Herbst is the only one making videos that break down complex medical topics into understandable videos for people, normally I would say you're doing the Lord's work, because there are way too many scientists who have absolutely no interest in making things accessible to the lay public, right? And so I would not normally use that as a red flag, but like Colin said, and he's looking at his notes right here. Look at Colin. He's got a nice resting face. That's a nice, thoughtful resting face. Anyway. Oh, crap. But if what she is saying in those videos doesn't line up, then that's the issue. But the other problem, and Colin pointed this out, most people are not well versed in whatever topic it is she's talking about, because she's breaking down medical research, right? It would be like if I started going in depth into the very boring papers that archaeologists do. There are formulas, there are measurements, there are methods. There's a lot of shit that no one gives two craps about, right? But if I started going into that, you guys wouldn't have much of a clue of what I'm talking about. You might know the words, you know, you might understand some of it, but you won't understand all of it, right? And I could take advantage of that. And it sounds like that's what she's doing. She's taking advantage of the fact that A, very few of her colleagues are going to even attempt to talk to lay people, and B, because of that, she can pretty much say whatever she wants because no one's going to check her on it. That's the problem. Yeah, extremes in either direction are unhealthy, but horse is fine. But I mean, yeah, if BMI is the only thing you've got, I mean, do BMI. It's not a bad indicator. It's not the devil, as fat activists would like you to believe. It's more like she presents theories and ideas and shots in the dark, which is fine. Yeah, but isn't saying if they are backed up yet or not. Deputy Slim Chippy. I mean, if I'm talking to a bunch of professionals, I will use my professional words because I went to college for those. But I wouldn't try to do it to you guys because I'm in a public forum. It's not even because, like, I don't think you guys could understand. It's I'm in a public forum. I should be talking to the public in a publicly accessible way. If I'm in a room full of other archaeologists and other professionals, I can use jargon and lingo because they should understand what I'm saying, right? Anyway. I appreciate that, K-Buns. I do. And I would not, actually. But if I'm talking over your head and I'm not stopping to explain things, you should be very suspicious of that. You're not dumb. I don't believe anybody's dumb. Yeah, exactly. Doc in a box. There's fluid in there. We just haven't proved it yet. Okay, back to Colin's video. Sorry.
No matter how technical her language was, I did know enough to spot things that seemed off. One of the more troubling talks I saw her give was at a Fat Disorders Resource Society conference. The Fat Disorders Resource Society, or FDRS, has a YouTube channel where they post recordings of past conferences. This conference is very important to the lipedema community, professionals and patients. You may remember this was the same conference at which the standard of care was proposed, although the talk I'm about to go over was slightly earlier in 2016. This talk was entirely dedicated to different supplements, vitamins, and medications that could possibly help with lipedema.
I cannot do all medications and supplements in 30 minutes. There's just no way. So I kind of picked and chose.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think there are plenty of benefits to supplements and vitamins, as long as you take them properly and preferably with a doctor's supervision. And Dr. Herbst does advise talking to your doctor first.
My doctor told me to take iron and vitamin D. Big surprise.
Especially because many supplements can interfere with medications. But here's the problem. I counted at least 40 suggested treatments in this talk. Some of them made a lot of sense to me, like weight loss medication.
But epinephrine comes from your sympathetic nervous system. You can also get it from amphetamines. And if you've ever been to my clinic, it's a good chance that we talked about amphetamines. And these include things like dextroamphetamine, Adderall, and phentermine. And phentermine is a medication that's used in obesity.
A large percentage, and possibly...
Isn't that the one that got pulled? There was like some kind of over-the-counter medication. This was a while ago. I'm old. And didn't it have fentanyl in it? And they had to pull it because it was killing people. I could be wrong though. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, Betsy, if I can't break it down in a way that a 5-year-old can understand it, mind you, I know very intelligent 5-year-olds. All of my 5-year-olds can quote Shakespeare. Anyway, my point being, then yeah, I don't understand it. Yeah, no, Dolce de Corgate, Dolce de Corgate. Yeah, I mean, BMI, you shouldn't just be using BMI. You shouldn't just use one health marker. Like, you need to use multiple ones. This part made my pharmacist go burr. Yeah. Has he talked about the apricot seeds yet? I might be thinking of ephedrine? Fen-phen. Yeah, fen-phen. People were dying. Yeah. So the fen wasn't fentanyl? People were basically having heart attacks. Fen was a combo. Wait. No. Somebody answered my question. Come back. Okay, so no, it was not any of those things. Excellent. All right, onward.
Even the majority of lipedema patients are obese, so sure, that sounds reasonable. She also recommends things like drinking lemon water.
Just to let you know that amphetamines are one way to bring these big fat cells down to a more normal size. The other thing that does it is lemons.
Okay.
Do you believe it? But look at that huge lift. Just from squeezing a lemon and maybe taking a little bit of that peel and putting it into your water.
And then she recommends vitamin D and vitamin C. Oh wait, actually she recommends taking over 8 times the recommended dose of vitamin D and over 26 times the recommended dose of vitamin C.
Yeah, I've been hearing from the bro science end of things, because I do listen to several of them, the concept of megadosing, where you megadose over-the-counter vitamins and things, because the theory is the recommended dose on the back of the bottle is the lowest recommended dose possible. Ergo, if you double that, you're getting twice the benefits. We haven't gotten there yet. No love and fear. Yeah, I didn't know anybody who died of fen, but I remember they pulled it. Yeah, well, I've had my heart race. I don't like it. No, I see you, Shadow. We don't even mention political names in here, please. So you can make you have a miscarriage? Oh, really? She's showing her hand by recommending... Isn't recommending a calorie deficit and weight loss. Yeah. Let's just ignore the bio. Look, Betty, it's the best. Betsy, it's the best I can do. Okay. Yes, we are, Ava. Yes. Yeah, there's certain vitamin like A. You don't want to OD on A. A will fuck you up. It'll fuck you up. Yes, A will fuck you. Sorry. It's that time of the day. Teach first-year college students to identify the different communication methods between rhetorical contexts and understanding audience needs is top priority. Yeah, exactly.
So take your vitamin D daily, that vitamin D, and you get your blood levels checked and it's not there. And you're like, I'm taking 5,000 units a day and it's not enough. That's okay, take more.
The recommended daily amount of vitamin D is 600 IU for people ages 1 to 70 years.
Vitamin C, the recommendations from this paper are 200 milligrams a day. I think 2,000 milligrams a day is better.
The recommended daily amount of vitamin C is 75 milligrams for adult women.
And then she recommends eating apricot seeds.
There are many other seed extracts. I know some people eat like 2 apricot seeds a day.
And that's especially concerning because if you didn't know this,
apricot seeds are poisonous. Don't do this, please.
Apricot seeds contain a chemical that the body converts into cyanide. I hate to say it.
Yeah. Excuse me. Cheesy girl. It was causing pulmonary hypertension. Yeah, no, I remember the big fen thing. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. I don't, like I said, I don't remember anybody in my immediate circle doing it, but I remember them talking on the radio. You guys remember the radio? They were talking on the radio about it and how it was getting pulled, and they were like, there was a ton of supplements because it worked. You lost weight because it was basically speed. But yeah, it was scary. And then the FDA came down and was like, no, stop. And they had to. The sound effect, yeah. Don't take that much vitamin D. Yeah. Yay! I hope the fancy cinnamon roll is delicious because it actually sounded pretty good. Yes, idiot witch. They do. Well, they turn into cyanide. Why would she recommend eating them? Oh yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet, sorry. She's a member of an MLM. She's a freaking doctor! The apricot scrubs don't work. Yeah, don't. The apricot seed, leave it alone. Eat the apricot meat. It's delicious, whatever. It's probably really good for you. But, like, the seed part of it, just leave it alone. Don't use apricot scrubs. It will tear up your skin. Don't eat the seeds. They are poisonous. And for the love of God, do not eat 2 of them. You can probably have no ill effects if you accidentally eat one. Because, I mean, it's small as an adult. The more of them you take, though, it's like Russian roulette. Eventually, you're going to find the proper dose. Yeah, strychnine was an old-timey performance enhancer too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, apple seeds also turn into cyanide. Yeah, a lot of the seed, what are they called? Stone fruits will do that. The actual seed that's inside the shell will do that. Some of them. Most of them. That's fair. Winter seeds. Winter seed. Come on.
But this talk made me lose a lot of respect for Dr. Herbst. I mentioned before on my channel that I have a morbid fascination with pseudoscience, and I recognize these things, the mega doses of vitamins and apricot seeds, as popular but questionable alternative medicine. So obviously this worried me, especially because she's trying so hard to have it both ways. She's a respected scientist trained in conventional methods, and she does recommend real tested treatments like healthy diet, exercise, weight loss medication, but she also knows that she's recommending vitamin doses way higher than what's recommended by other doctors. She says to consult your doctor before taking these things, but how many doctors would sign off on megadosing vitamins? And you will be hard-pressed to find any respectable doctor who recommends eating apricot seeds. In fact, the FDA actually recommends against ingesting apricot seeds because of the cyanide poisoning risk.
You could just see going to your doctor, being like, hey, so yeah, I'm fat, right? Yeah, so how do you feel about me eating apricot seeds to not be fat anymore? Your doctor would go, why are you here? What apricot to end it all? Yeah. Well, exactly, Ava. No wonder why Dr. Birch is so against her. It's not just what she says about lipedema. It's the whole thing. Like, so-called experts or self-proclaimed experts. And the gauntlet was thrown. Yeah, well, look. You only got so much brain power, K-Buns. Yeah, Midori Gale. Most of the stone fruits, well, that you can be fat if you're dead. Excuse you. I'm kidding. What about tapeworms? You know, people still do that. This is almond mom advice. Almonds, interesting. Tastes like almonds. Well, Allie, funny you mentioned that. All right, I know we didn't get very far, but I've also been on for 3.5 hours. I've been on as long as this thing is, as long as Colin's thing here. But in case you don't have it, here's the link to the video we're watching with Colin in it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it, because it will take a while for us to get through it, so don't watch it just through me. Go watch Colin's video on your own. I will continue to do reactions to it during the lives until we get it done. Will we get it done this year? Who knows? Because I talk too much. It's really because I talk too much. Yeah, and in general, it's just a well put together video. Colin does an excellent job. I think the visuals that he puts in here are informative. He crafts a very good argument. I like that he has it broken up into chapters that are fairly easy to navigate, because like I don't do that. So here you are. Where did we leave off? We are at 1 hour and 8 minutes. So everybody just remember, yeah, remind me 108, 2024 goal. I mean, I still have a month left. I mean, we probably can get there, but throw my corpse in a classroom. But okay, if you've made it this far, put a peach No, put a stone fruit in the comment section because we should not be eating those. Well, the seeds. Eat the fruit. The fruit is good for you. Don't eat the seeds. And if you swallow one, you're fine. You're probably fine. Unless you have something wrong with you, you're probably fine. Okay. So I don't want people panicking if they end up swallowing like a cherry pit or something like that. It happens. It's fine. But yeah. Why apricots? Why did she pick apricots? Does she just like apricots? Anyway. But yes, thank you everybody for joining me here. Thank you for giving treats to my cat. I appreciate that, and so does the cat. And yeah, we watched 2 really good videos tonight. I'm very happy about it. I like the little community I'm building with the videos we watch. If you guys can think of anybody else who is in the same vein as like Colin and Rhetoric Toast, I'm more than happy to watch their stuff. I think there's another person that does rhetoric videos, and I've seen at least 2 of them. I cannot for the life of me. It's like Mika something. Anyway, snake oil recommendation for cancer. She's a doctor. But anyway, probably won't do. I'm not going to go live until next week. So everybody who celebrates it, happy Turkey Day. And for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, happy Thursday when it gets here. And again, thank you all for joining me. Hot dogs. Hot dogs are not a stone fruit, cat. Don't swallow watermelon seeds. Yeah, a watermelon will grow in your belly. All right, anyway, thank you guys. I'll see you in the